protection, reliability.
More horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Pro2 Round 2 2021 UK Drift Championship event here at Driftland. Like Ellie, Paul, we just had a pretty intense qualifying session from our Pro2 drivers. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of upsets, a lot of happy faces.
Yeah, some happy faces. It was an interesting qualification, obviously made very difficult by the fact that the guys had practiced in the wet and qualified in the dry. But one thing's for certain is the rain has held off. The clouds may still be in the sky, but it is absolutely dry as a bone out there now by the looks of things. I'm expecting to see plenty of smoke, and obviously these guys are going to go and do battle now.
They certainly are going to do battle, and as you can see down the back end of the grid, we do have a tyre warming area. That is just a little area where the drivers can do a donut, a figure of eight, just scrub the front tyres, get some heat into the front, some heat into the rear tyres before they send it into that wall flat out in third or fourth gear. And that long pull from outside zone 1 to outside zone 2. These guys are eager. They're on the line. They're ready to go. As you can see, we've got a few bio runs. We're going to talk you through it as we are almost ready to kick off action. So we're going to head down to the start line, Motty, and take a look at the first battle here in Top 32 Pro 2 competition. And it's going to be Ben Mears to take on Lee Chambers.
So Ben taking on Lee. Just correct me when I say this. Ben Mears is the vehicle with in yellow. Am I right in saying?
How could you miss it? It is the one in yellow, and it is the TGR Link ECU S14. He's going to be going up against Lee Chambers. Ben Mears to lead. The lead car goes through the chicane. That is just to slow him down, and up through the gears he goes, up onto the wall, and a big bit of separation already. And Ben Mears hammers on the throttle. Big mistake in his second qualifying run earlier on. And Ben Mears now starts to put a serious bit of distance between him and Lee Chambers. Comes through in to outside zone 4, does Ben Mears, flicks it up, looks for that final clipping point. And Lee Chambers, no answer at the moment as Lee Chambers gets lost in a cloud of smoke.
Yeah, Ben Mears in that fantastically prepared and absolutely beautifully looking S14 just gapped Lee Chambers there at the point. So yeah, they were just struggling to catch up there, Lee. Once Ben was off, you know, he showed him his heels, didn't he, really?
Exactly that. You know, you're struggling for pace, and Ben Mears got up and out through that chicane and was gone. Now Lee Chambers and Ben swap around. Lee is in the lead position, and Ben is ready to chase him down.
Judges are looking for proximity. They want to see the chase car
we want to see them door to door. Yeah, door to door. We might not get that until a little bit later in competition. This is the top 32. We're whittling these guys down. As you can see, Ben Mears, though, not messing around, not letting Lee Chambers get too far away. Oh, a very scrappy initiation from Lee Chambers. It sounds like Lee Chambers' car is absolutely on the limit as Ben Mears gives him some room to manoeuvre. Chambers goes wide. It's 2 wheels off circuit. And you can see Ben Mears bows out of it, reinitiates behind. He knows the deal is done. 2 wheels off the circuit at any point here. Driftland is a 0. And Ben Mears finishes up, just giving him a little push up onto the door across the line. And that one, well, you know, it pretty much signed, sealed and delivered.
Yeah. All right, Stevie Wonder.
You got it. I didn't think he was going to get it.
Of course, you know, how can I not get that? He's a hero of mine.
He's a hero of yours.
What a legend.
So there we go.
We wait for Dale to give them the go-ahead.
Well, look at this. We've got our graphic up. Oh, and all 3 judges give it to Ben Mears. And Ben Mears gets the win, advances through into the top 16. And we didn't see the first battle of our top 32, which would have been Callum Payne. He got a bye run into the top 16. And we gave the option to the drivers. We said, do you want to do a bye run or do you want to wait, save the tyres, save the fuel, and just do your first run in top 16? They said, look, no point me going out there doing a solo run. I've done it all weekend. I'm just going to sit back, relax, take a little bit more time to eat some food and enjoy myself, and I'll do battle when battle is ready. So there we go. Ben Mears moves through into competition.
Yeah, and what you're saying there, obviously these drivers, there's no point in wasting rubber, fuel, wear and tear on the vehicle. You never know. That run, for the sake of doing a run, could cause you, seal up the bank.
If you have a one more time battle, you might not have enough tyres to get into the final or to win the event. So there we go. We move it along, and it is going to be Ames Hill to take on Luke Conti.
Yeah, so Ames Hill really sort of start to come together at the end of qualifying through the dry conditions. So she is going to be the lead car as she goes through the chicane. She needs to give it a strong initiation because Luke Conti is going to be all over Ames here into this first corner.
Well, a little bit of separation already opened up as Luke Conti lets Ames Hill get away. She just sacrifices a little bit of that qualifying line. And of course, the higher qualifier in the lead position to start with, and the lower qualifier chasing. You can see Ames Hill on quite a nice line there. Luke Conti gets himself caught up on the inside. This is where judges said to our drivers, you have to be careful, don't get yourself caught up. You can see Luke Conti's car there, big straight, and as Ames Hill keeps foot to floor, brings it across the line.
Yeah, and Ames Hill doing exactly what she needed to do there, which was just follow that qualifying line, think about her own drive, not worry about what was going on behind her. And obviously Luke was just struggling there, a few straight-ins. He'd not got himself on the door where he needed to be. And if you're not on the door in that close proximity, then you are going to struggle because you're going to be offline. You're not going to hit the areas that you need to be. And obviously there's also that when the cars are smoking the tyres, you're going to struggle again to see where you're going.
Exactly that. And in the briefing, the judges said to our drivers, look, if you can't get on the door, if you've got a low-powered car and you can't really push high up onto the door, stick to the qualifying line. We will judge you on 2 qualifying runs. Luke Conti going for a desperate dive there on the outside zone 1. He's going to sacrifice that second clipping point. Now he's going to go very wide, just holds on to it. Ames Hill now needs to just keep the cool and put in a qualifying run. They could see that Luke Conti went off track, knocks down that outside clipping point, that cone denoting the edge of the circuit. So Luke Conti there dropping wheels off the edge of the track. And across the line they go, and I can only see this going one way.
Yeah, fair play to Ames Hill there. She kept cool, she just concentrated on her own drive, and Payne in favour of Ames Hill. Rich Newton, we just lost the graphic.
We lost it there, yeah, it was gone in a flash.
Gone in a flash.
We know where it's going to go. It's going to go to Ames Hill. Yeah, Ames Hill gets the win, advances through Luke Conti. Even though he made that real big dived, sacrificed outside zone 1, wasn't what the judges were looking for. Probably would have preferred him to be a little bit more calm, cool, calm and collected. We can talk to our judges through top 32. We can jump on over and have a word with them guys and see what they're, see how they're feeling and why they made those decisions.
Yeah, we've got obviously 3 very experienced judges, and it's always sometimes good to get the feedback, especially when there's a decision that's, sees a little bit of deliberation, where it's kind of too tight to call. And obviously sometimes in those situations we may even see it run one more time.
Exactly that. We might see him one more time. There we go. We've got Joe Smith to take on Eddie Hucka. Car specs up on the screen as well. So Joe Smith finished up on the podium at round 1. Can he do it again? Well, he's got to get through Eddie Hucka first. And Eddie Hucka will be, want to taste a little bit of that champagne tonight. Want to get some success, you know. Look at that, Joe Smith, though, off the line like a scolded cat, flicks it, almost takes down our start line marshal, Eddie Hucka, onto the back bumper. But look at Joe Smith's initiation, absolutely flying bumper, 90 degrees to the wall, but he does sacrifice outside zone 2, like starting to let his lead line fall apart ever so slightly now as Eddie Hucka gives him the room to manoeuvre. They come through the centre of the circuit. Hucka once again backs out of it, waits, tries to make a dive, shortcuts the circuit ever so slightly. He's going to find himself way up on the inside.
Yeah, fair and sort of consistent run from those guys. You know, they're just finding their feet a little bit in these battles, but you can't do that. You've got to be all or nothing. You know, and Eddie Hucka was trying to reel him in, but maybe just giving him a little bit more courtesy than he should have done. You know, he needs to be. You know, it's the judges like the aggression. You know, of a chase driver in this situation. So, but the guys are going to switch it around, as you can see. Eddie Hucka now becomes the lead car. Joe Smith will become the chase vehicle.
I'm really liking the graphics as well, the way the names swap over, it switches to a run too. Yeah, I mean, we're glossing it up, we're glossing it up here. The guys at control pulled out all the stops this weekend. Well, there you go, start line marshal. Dale gives thumbs up all round and he sends them off the line. And Joe Smith waits for Eddie Hucka to get through that chicane. Nice and tight this weekend. We're pushing them to the limit, making them work for it. Eddie Hucka, nice initiation. Joe Smith, washes, catches a bit of understeer. Now he's got to work for it. Joe Smith catches a whole lot of understeer, but so does Eddie Hucka as he comes down his outside zone 3. You can see Joe Smith looking maybe a little bit of hope left in this one for him. Waits for the transition. Now Joe Smith goes for the dive. Can he get any closer? It doesn't look like Eddie Hucka's going to allow him that opportunity.
You know, pretty fair on both of those runs. I mean, we'll have to wait and see what the judges say. So the guys will line up in front of Dale, our start line marshal. He's going to hold them there, and I suspect we'll see the graphic now.
Too quick. Too quick. We didn't even catch it. Too quick.
Guys, go on. It's coming back. It's coming back.
So are we going to see it? Oh, it's on and off. It's on and off. There we go. Joe Smith gets the win, advances through into the top 16. And Joe Smith, that championship still looking very much alive for that young man.
So we are going to see lining up Tom Fruin-Clark versus Paul Schiel.
Yeah, Paul Schiel in the Firefly Speed Shop Nissan 350Z and Tom Fruin-Clark in the Motorsport E36 BMW Compact. There we go. Paul Schiel keeping everything a secret. Doesn't even want you to know what the power is. 580 horsepower, though, from that BMW E36 Compact.
In a compact as well.
6-cylinder BMW turbo engine underneath the bonnet of that. I was told the other day. Someone give away all his secrets.
We've got him straight up on the graphics.
We've got him straight up on the graphics, no messing around. Yeah, he's probably telling everyone in the pub it's only 250 horsepower. No hiding. So Paul Schiel got his work cut out right now. But can Tom Fruin-Clark hold it together?
So the guys are going to set off with Tom Fruin-Clark as the lead car, Paul Schiel as the chase.
Yeah,
Dale's giving them the thumbs up, and they are off.
Yeah, door slam shut, cars go into gear, and you can see Paul Schiel there waiting for Tom Fruin-Clark to get himself up and out of that chicane. Nice flick initiation from Tom Fruin-Clark. Can he get nice and wide? He can. He's on a very nice lead line at the moment. Tucks the nose of that BMW down on the inside. He's going to wash too far away, though. Oh, and the car cuts out. Car cuts out, hits the rev limiter, yeah, and the car cuts out, has to wait to get back onto the throttle, and that completely upsets Paul Schiel. Yeah, and that's completely thrown Paul Schiel off of his slide, yeah.
So in that situation, obviously, when the car in front of the lead car obviously makes an error and forces the car behind to obviously effectively take avoiding action, so to speak.
Yes.
The judges are always going to mark that one way, aren't they?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, look, you can't chase. If it's an unchaseable lead, then they're forcing you into a situation where you cannot drift. So Tom Fruin-Clark will be at fault for that. Car problems happens. Yep. We've seen it a million times before.
Yep, and we'll see it a million times again in the future, no doubt. But, yeah. So really, this is, Paul Schiel's to play for now. He just got to keep his cool and make a nice tidy run. He clips the cone there.
Clips the cone, yeah. Clips the cone, jumps the car up into 3 wheels. Paul Schiel going to hold on to this one. Nice initiation, but look, Tom Fruin-Clark goes for a little dive up onto the door. Tom Fruin-Clark, though, that car not playing ball. As it cuts out once again, he straightens massively as he heads down into outside zone 3. Can it find any ounce of working? as Tom Clark fires on the angle through the centre of the circuit. Paul Schiel looks like he's got this one in the bag. And Paul Schiel throws up the smoke signal and says to Tom Clark, I'll catch you another round.
Yeah, Paul Schiel keeping his cool there and doing exactly what he needed to do on that second run. We will wait for the graphic, but Dale holds him there on the spot. And as you can see, acknowledgement, thumbs up from Tom Clark. He knows what's happened there, and he's shown a lot of respect to Paul Schiel there. And as you can see, Payne in favour of Paul Schiel. Rich as well in favour of Paul Schiel, and I suspect it's an anonymous decision.
Yeah, I mean, look, yeah,
well.
two judges outweighs one, so there we go. Paul Schiel gets the win, advances through, and Tom Clark will be going back to the pits and having a stern word with a car. That's for sure.
Listen, it happens, he's driven well to get to this point. It was a bit of a tough qualifying session. But, he'll come back to fight another day, and I've got no doubts it won't be the last that we see of him when he's challenging sort of for the top step there as well. No. So looking to who we've got coming next, we've got Oliver Baker versus Harry Hudson.
Well, I mean, this very good battle. We know how good Oliver Baker is. We've seen him in practice twinning, but we know how good Harry Hudson is in that car. When he gets it on point, when it sings, when he gets everything right, he wanted dry weather. You can look at him getting the heat into them rear tyres down there at the back end of the circuit. He knows how dangerous Oliver Baker is right now. Baker's in the lead position.
I actually think Harry Hudson's probably going to be more at home, especially in that little crawler, as a chase car. So, the twin battles will probably suit him more than qualification. So, let's wait and see. Dale sends them on the way.
Yeah, he certainly does. And through the chicane goes Oliver Baker, steaming through the gears. You can see Harry Hudson goes for a jump onto the back bumper. Baker throws it in. Oh! Wow.
And there was
Harry Hudson,
no way he was avoiding that.
There was nowhere for Harry Hudson to go. And you can see, look at that bumper bar completely punching the front of the car in. And Harry Hudson puts his thumb out the window and he gives him the thumbs up and says, I'm sorry, buddy. Look at this on a replay. You can see Oliver Baker was going for it. He knew he had to try and escape. He had to try and get away from Harry Hudson. And he fired that car on as fast as he could. And unfortunately, just couldn't hold on to it.
But that's it. You've got to have that full commitment. And both drivers with that full commitment, and a little broken tail light there and a bumper off for Harry Hudson. And you know what? They'll probably just give it a little bit of a quick cover. And you just look at the replay, he just over-rotates massively, and there was just no way for Harry Hudson to avoid that.
Yeah, there was no way Harry Hudson was going to avoid that. And you can see there, Ames Hill out the car, helping Harry Hudson, saying, is it okay? Is it usable again? Is there anything? Is there any of that tube work touching on the tyres? Oliver Baker, he's got intercooler in the front of that car, radiator up front. They're going to be making sure that car's usable. He's going to have to call a 5-minute rule. There's only one 5-minute rule from now until top 4. So if you're in the top 32, top 16, grade 8, one 5-minute rule. Once you get in to the final 4, you get another 5-minute rule. So you have to play it careful. If Oliver Baker thinks, look, I can get through a battle without damaging the car, without calling a 5-minute rule, I'll do that, because then I'll get quite a lot of time now until my next battle in top 16 to fix the car. But until that happens, who knows? We're getting some info, though.
No, absolutely. And, the track marshal straight on the clean-up process there, just removing some of the debris, and that has sprinkled itself over corner 1. But we'll wait to see, like you say, whether a 5-minute rule will be called. I'm looking out on circuit at the moment, both vehicles are still there. Harry Hudson, I think, that vehicle sort of bit of cosmetic damage, but I shouldn't suspect anything mechanical. It didn't look like it was the rear wheel, it was just a bumper.
So I've just been asked by our track staff if the 6 drivers that qualified and got a bye run, if you are ready to rock and roll, could you please make your way to your car and get yourself ready for your top 16 battle, because we are gridding those guys down the back end of the circuit. So thank you for that. And we look forward to seeing Callum Payne do some damage. I'm looking forward to seeing
damage. No, don't use
Harry
the word damage.
Archer do some damage.
Don't use the word damage after what we've just
This is how this is played out this weekend already. Harry Archer has got himself a bye into the top 16. He's holding on. Well, look, Oliver Baker says the car's ready to rock and roll. Harry Hudson says it's a fiberglass back end. I'm not worried. I'll just keep going. I'll just keep sending it. Oliver Baker, though, now sits with a 10-0 deficit. Dangerous place to be. He's in the chase position. This is where he could do the damage. Can Harry Hudson keep his cool, put in a nice lead line, and walk away with this win and get himself into the top 16?
I think Harry's kind of got that mentality. He's a consistent driver. I don't think he'll be fazed by what just took place. So You know, it's all for these guys now.
Certainly is. They come screaming through the gears, punched in front end on the E36 BMW, but a big mistake from Harry Hudson. You can see he's sacrificing those outside zones. And Harry Hudson a little bit scrappy there, but he knows all he has to do is make it through this one. Oliver Baker doing everything he can to try and do some damage from that chase position, but I'm not sure he can. Oh, he gives him a nudge onto the door. Oliver Baker gives Harry Hudson a nudge on the door and says, I'm still here, buddy.
Yeah, go on, Paul, get a move on. I think there was a little bit of a love tap there. So we'll wait to see what the judges say, because there was a slight error there from Harry, but was it enough to, you know, overturn the deficit that was caused by Oliver Baker? I really don't think
I mean,
so.
look, it wasn't a perfect lead run from Harry Hudson. He'll admit that himself, but it wasn't a spin. So
look at that. Look at the BMW there. It kind of looks sad,
oh,
doesn't
judges
it?
want to see a replay from Harry Hudson.
I wonder what they're looking for. Wheels off track, maybe?
Maybe wheels off track. No, there was I didn't see no wheels off track from Harry Hudson. So I'm hearing the judges say, oh, yes. Big straighten in the centre of the circuit.
And then obviously the collision.
Straight line handbrake drag from Harry Hudson. Are they declaring that a zero and one more time, potentially?
In which case, yeah, like you say, we'd see it run one more time. Oh, just go back to that E36, looking all sad. You know, a little bit of damage, a little bit of, you know, repair work to take place before round 3, which will be held at Teesside. We'll wait.
Oh, there we go. Scores drop in. Peden says Harry Hudson. Rich says Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson gets the win, advances through into the top 16.
So Harry Hudson makes it through to do battle in the top 16.
Yeah, he certainly does. And we're one side of our top 32 bracket done and dusted. We move on to the next side. And the first battle we will see will be Stephen Lynch to take on John Goulden. Damon Murphy already made his way into the top 16.
Yep, with a bye. Stephen Lynch as well has been a man that's been on fire this weekend so far. He's
what, literally?
Fully committed. Well, no, let's hope not. Fully committed. I mean, looking at the smoke coming out of that vehicle, possibly. But he's quite...
I didn't see that.
Didn't see that on the
Missed
graphic.
it. We're too busy writing
Too
notes.
busy, you know.
We're
We're doing
notes.
a job, guys, you know.
Oh, I didn't see it. I missed the graphic. Oh, man. Well, at least everyone else at home had a laugh about that one. So it is going to be Stephen Lynch to lead out John Goulden. And Stephen Lynch been driving very, very good all weekend. He gets the thumbs up all round. And off the line they go.
Lynch will be the lead car into that first corner with John Gordon chasing him down. But just already pulling a bit of a gap there on John Gordon. Stephen Lynch on the clip.
Wow.
Some great driving for Stephen Lynch this weekend.
Yeah, Stephen Lynch on it. Look at that, deep into outside zone 3. Incredible line so far from Stephen Lynch. He is giving John Goulden all the opportunity to chase him down. Stephen Lynch, listen, if he can continue this form all the way through, he could be a contender for the final 4, even into the Grade 8. Gets wide, just shallows up the angle across the line. Very nice job from Stephen Lynch there.
Yeah, very nice job. And obviously, getting that line absolutely perfect this weekend, you know, qualifying relatively well. Had a little bit of a hiccup during qualifying.
Just a little one.
You know, he's going to get himself into the chase position now, and we'll see it switch around with Stephen Lynch. He's going to be chasing, and John Gordon will be the lead car. John's just been struggling a little bit with keeping that angle on lock. A couple of straight-ins as we saw there. And obviously, I have no doubts, but I suspect Stephen's going to be, you know, on him like well, he's going to be all over him. Like glue.
Stuck to him like glue. Stuck
yeah.
to him like glue. Well, I mean, look, yeah, you said John Gordon's been struggling with that car. I think that comes down to a little bit of setup, if I'm brutally honest with you. He's been catching a lot of understeer here and there, maybe some front tyre issues, maybe he needs to work a little bit on that car, try and get it dialed. But Stephen Lynch would have been told by the spotters on the radio, you put in a phenomenal lead run, give him some room to manoeuvre, and then try and train him in. But a massive error from Stephen Lynch. Stephen Lynch then makes a huge error as he comes down, just about keeps that car on the edge of the circuit for outside zone 3, but then John Gordon drops 2 wheels off track at 4. This is going to make it a very difficult decision for the judges as they go wide for outside zone 6 and finish up the run.
Well, yeah, we need to wait and see what the judges' take on that is, because obviously some big errors there from both drivers, you know, and
Yeah, so, yeah, judges just making some things aware to me, Marty. Just saying that John Gordon took down that outside side. Well, he hit the clipping point. So there we go. Stephen Lynch, 1 vote from Payne and Nielsen. And there we go. Stephen Lynch gets the win and advances through. Judges, we just need to just quickly have a quick word with the judges. James, that one a little bit backwards and forwards, a little bit of upset here and there. Just clarify that one for us.
Yeah, hi Ian, everybody. That would have been quite an interesting run, except for the clipping point infringement on the second part. Obviously, the first run we had Stephen up with a very solid 7-3. On the second run through, when roles were reversed, John, I'd have wanted to see a replay probably as we got to 3, because it looked like he was on the verge of being off, but we said to them, up to the line, even on the line is good. Getting off 2 wheels would have been bad. But unfortunately, he touched the clipping point. We made it quite clear that's an instant 0, because we said to them, pretend there was a wall there. If there was a wall there, the last 3 feet of his car would be missing.
So there we go.
Well, exactly. You know, we've got 1 wall. We don't need 2.
We don't need 2. We've got 1 wall. We're ready to rock and roll. With the next battle will be Adam Galt to take on Joel Conlon.
So Joel Conlon will be the lead car in the left-hand lane, and Adam Galt in the PS13, a beautiful-looking car, will be the chase car.
Yeah, Joel Conlon in that 350Z, looking to take down Adam Galt, as you said, in that incredible-looking PS13. Adam Galt, though, getting out, getting some seat time. He knows how to party, but can he party with Joel Conlon, who seems to have turned it on? Oh, what a massive understeer through the centre there from Adam Galt. As Joel Conlon almost gets tagged on the back end from Adam Galt. Adam Galt just lost the flow, you know. Tried to send it in up onto the door of Joel Conlon, had to back out of it, and then from then on out, Adam Galt just couldn't get himself back into the mix.
Yeah, so Joel Conlon will go with the advantage there into the second run.
Yeah, that's going to be a 10-0 advantage there to Joel Conlon. You know, multiple straightens and a complete straighten across the line there from Adam Galt, unfortunately.
Adam Galt now is the lead car. All he can do is just put in the best line that he can, you know, and just hope and pray with his fingers crossed that Joel Conlon just makes a mistake and throws it away. You know, we've seen it happen, but Joel just needs to keep his cool now, really, here.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Joel Conlon gets left sleeping on the line a little bit as Adam Galt makes his way through the chicane. Up and gone. He's out of there. He knows he's sitting with a huge deficit. As now Joel Conlon starts to sacrifice a little bit of line to try and gain some proximity back. Up and to the side. And Adam Galt screams through the centre of the circuit. Adam Galt holds on to it. Joel Conlon, nothing in this one. Can't bring the fight. And this could all come down to the first battle, first run.
Yeah, like you said then, Ian, I think it all comes down to that first battle. It's very difficult to overcome a 10-0 deficit. So I suspect that Joel Conlon will go through and progress into the top 16.
Yeah, but judges just deliberating this one, you know. There was a lot of mistakes and backwards and forwards. Glad I'm just a commentator, not a judge.
Glad you're a commentator and not a judge. The amount of times I've heard a commentator say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the judging is probably the hardest position to be in.
So there we go, 1 vote for Joel Conlon. Oh. So 1 vote goes to Joel Conlon. No votes go to Joel Conlon. It was a little bit, people getting eager, pressing buttons.
Surely, was it?
Pressing buttons. Judges want to see a replay.
Okay,
of the last run.
Okay, so
maybe, are they looking for a straighten from Joel Conlon? Because if there's a straighten from Joel Conlon, so yeah, they were looking for a mistake from Joel Conlon. One of the other judges said potential straighten, potential, you know, mistake from Joel Conlon. Could it overturn the 10-0? Could it be a 10-0, 10-0? But it looks like they've come to their decision. We wait for the graphic to appear. So there we go. Oh, it is 1 vote for Joel Conlon. We wait for the rest to drop in. There we go. 2 votes for Joel Conlon, and Joel Conlon gets the win and advances through into the top 16. And unfortunately there for Adam Galt, the straighten just too much to overturn.
That's correct. So next up we're going to see, is it Marshall Goodwin versus Kyle Hanley?
Yeah, we certainly are. We're going to see Marshall Goodwin in that Nissan 350Z. Drivers not filling out their information. You know, we prompt them all the time. We say to them, fill out your information. It's used on the live stream. Maybe they do want to keep it secret.
Too busy underneath the car, fixing, repairing, prepping, getting ready for these events. You know, a lot of time goes into the build of these vehicles and getting them on the trailer and ready to rock and roll. And ready to rock and roll we shall be in a second with this run. Marshall Goodwin is the lead car. Kyle Hanley will be the chase car.
Yeah, Goodwin comes through the chicane, hammers down in that Firefly Aero 350Z. Oh, Kyle Hanley onto the back bumper, has to back out of it though, yeah, and it just cannot hold on to it. Made a nice attempt at a dive onto the back end of that 350Z. Now Kyle Hanley makes another attempt to get back into the game, back onto the door, into the proximity, almost over-rotates, so in the centre of the circuit, shuts it down and has to reinitiate as he makes his way around the back end of the circuit.
Yeah, so the advantage will clearly be going to Marshall Goodwin in there. The guys will give it a little handbrake and flick it around. And they will position themselves now as they swap around. Kyle will become the lead car, Marshall Goodwin will become the chase car. So Kyle's got to try and get the legs now a little bit on Marshall and hope that Marshall makes an error, but Marshall's just going to try and hold his consistent run there and, you know, not make too many errors, but and as long as he can do that, then I suspect Marshall will go through.
Yeah, Kyle Hanley, massive mistake in that chase position. It was a nice attempt at a dive. I think he just got a little bit nervous. You know, he jumped up onto the side, then had to back out of it, and that completely threw him. Marshall Goodwin now probably would have been on the radio to the spotters. And them guys tell him, just hold off, just keep your cool, stick to your qualifying line, wheels on the inside there from Kyle Hanley as he comes down his outside zone 3. And yeah, look at Marshall Goodwin, just holding on to it, putting in a qualifying run in the back, not too close, not trying to put himself in danger, just get himself through top 32 into the big show top 16. And there we go. Marshall Goodwin, sensible head on his shoulders.
Say exactly, took the words out of my mouth. Very sensible run there from Marshall. He knew exactly what he needed to do, and he did just that to put himself through into the top 16. We'll wait for the judges to confirm it, but I think we can pretty much safely say here and at home that that is what we expect. And yeah, Marshall Goodwin takes 1 vote, 2 votes, and I suspect he will also take the 3rd from James as well.
So there we go, yeah, all 3 judges agree. Marshall Goodwin gets the win, advances through. Kyle Hanley out of competition, got himself a little bit too hot and heavy.
You know, it's easily done though, you know, when you get to that competition type point of view, when, you know, it's just you and another driver and you're out there, you're giving it everything you can. But next up, Paul Howell and Marcus Ty. Paul Howell was, you know, putting in some really good runs, and today he had a little bit of a hiccup on his first run in qualifying where he actually scored a 0, but then he got his head together and, you know, sorted himself out and made it into the top 32. And he's going to be going up against Marcus Ty, who's had a bit of an interesting weekend so far. He's, you know, thrown it up the grass verge a couple of times. He's, you know, shown a little bit of inconsistency, which isn't a little bit like him, but, you know, he's all or nothing, Marcus Ty. So let's wait and see now. Paul Howell will be the lead car. Marcus Ty will be the chase car. And I do love an R32, you know. Yeah,
they are incredible cars. Oh, and Marcus Ty left sleeping on the line. So Marcus Ty left absolutely napping on the start line. Got the thumbs up from our start line marshal. Our judges are going to want to see a replay of that to make sure that it was a clean release from our start line marshal. As Paul Howell finds his feet. I spoke to Paul Howell in the small break we had, and Paul Howell said, I took a load of grip out of the car for my first qualifying run, and then I did my first qualifying run and realised I still had too much grip in the car, so I took even more grip out of the car for my second qualifying run and managed to pull it together. So yeah, judges wanted to see a replay of the release.
So it was a bit of an interesting one. Like you say, Marcus Ty seemed to be, you know, left sleeping there. But was it a correct release? Was, you know, were both drivers paying attention? Was Marcus just not really focused on what was about to take place? But
yeah, so judges just trying to get a replay of the release.
I wonder whether he's not got it in gear properly.
Yeah,
or
I wonder if he was sitting there, tried to get it in gear, and then rushed, couldn't get it in gear, and then had to panic to get away. I'm not sure if we've got the replay that far back.
Not yet.
We've just got him pulling away from the line. So, judges talking about this one, you know, going through it. They got Marshall down there. Potentially ask Marcus Ty, was there a problem with the car?
Yeah, I
Was
mean,
you asleep? Was you asleep?
You know, and one thing I'll say
Was
is...
you checking your Facebook?
Was
you watching the live stream?
Watching us on live stream, you know.
Was you watching
like
the live
everybody
stream?
at home, you know.
Yeah, if you're watching the live stream, give us a thumbs up, give us a share, tag your friends, tell them all about us. It's round 2 of the Pro 2 competition. Tomorrow, we're mixing it up, Marty.
We're mixing it up. Come on,
We're
explain,
going to mix it
explain.
up. So we thought, you know, it's cool to have top 32. It's even tougher to have a top 24. But when you've got the best of the best pro drivers from around the country all doing battle in one place, why not whittle them down to top 16 in qualifying alone?
All right, okay. Okay, so the guys have got a, you know, it's...
And then, why not throw some more Pro 2 drivers at it?
Okay.
Because some of these Pro 2 drivers would have had a hell of a lot of seat time by tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And
so these guys, they've deserved it. They've deserved the shot. They've deserved the opportunity. So let's mix it up a little bit. Let's put a few more Pro 2 drivers into the fight tomorrow in pro competition, and let's whittle qualifying down from 32, 24 to just 16.
So straight into top 16.
Straight into top 16 tomorrow in our pro competition.
Oh, well, that's definitely one that I'm not going to miss because I'm going to be here commentating.
You are certainly going to be here. Well, we are going to be live.
That's going to make it really interesting.
We are going to be live tomorrow with qualifying. We're going to whittle down those drivers into a top 16, and then we'll be back at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon with a top 16 parade here in front of hopefully a packed out hot Driftland, where me and Motty will be talking to these guys. But off the line, Marcus Ty now says, well, I'm not going to get caught with that one again. Flat to the floorboards goes Marcus Ty. Paul Howell gives him some room. Marcus Ty absolutely screaming, looking for that outside zone too. As he comes down the hill, Marcus Ty struggling with that car, and a big correction from Marcus Ty. He's going to go very wide again, just about gets out of trouble. Marcus Ty stays in it. Paul Howell just gives him all the room to manoeuvre, just sticks to that qualifying line.
Yeah, Marcus tried to get the legs there a little bit on Paul Howell, didn't he? You know, just to repay the favour, so to speak. But yeah, just a few errors and Paul Howell there, I suspect, with obviously the first run and obviously the way that played out in the second run will probably take.
Yeah, not sure what happened.
I don't know. I'm just commentating on what I see. We'll have to wait and see
that.
exactly what the judges say, and we want to wait for the graphic to come on board. In the meantime, I can see that the rest of the vehicles are out on track, ready, lined up to go. So we will be shortly underway for our top 16 once we've whittled down these, last few battles.
Yeah, just one more battle to go after this Paul Howell Marcus Ty battle. Gary Mickey gets his buyer straight into.
You got it right now, Gary Mickey.
I'm even going to write it
Mickey.
like it, like, oh, Mickey, you're so fine.
Am I?
No, you're not. You're not Mickey. So there we go. All three judges agree. Paul Howell gets the win, advances through into the top 16, and Marcus Ty knocked out of competition. And we move it on to the final battle of our top 32 here, Pro 2 competition.
Bit of David Goliath there, 550 horsepower compared to 300 horsepower. It just shows, doesn't it? You know, that BMW with all of that supercharged power going up against what is an S-body with 300 horse. Don't underestimate the little S-body. Everybody that drives them as a drift car goes, they are the best chassis to use for drifting.
Well, you're opening a can of worms there.
Yeah, I don't
You're
mind
opening a big can of worms there, because there's a lot of people, BMW fans out there. There's a lot of Nissan fans out there. There's a lot of Toyota fans out there. So You have to be careful with that one.
Yeah.
I've been caught with that one before.
You have?
Yeah. Saying what chassis is the best chassis.
Okay. What chassis do you own?
We're not going to get into that. So there we go. Look, thumbs up this time, all around, hands down. We are good to go. It is going to be Anthony Cletus to lead in Tony Morgan. This is for the final spot in top 16. Who's going to take it? Anthony Cletus says, having issues with that car, ECU problems. Tony Morgan on absolutely blinding qualifying line there. Drops down a little bit too shallow and now starts to give up some room, give up some proximity to Anthony Cletus. Anthony Cletus throwing up the smoke screen out front. As Tony Morgan just does not have anything in it. Oh, and Anthony Cletus straight across the line. Judges spot it. You could just, I looked over at the judges. They were hands on head, throwing their arms up in the air.
Yeah, it's going to be penalised for that, I suspect. It was before the line that's drawn across the track to show where the drifting stops and the drifting begins. And did he stop drifting way before that line? Certainly looked at it a little bit from this kind of area where we are, but we'll wait and see once this second run is played out.
Well, I think the judge is going to want to see a quick replay first of the end of that run. Yeah, here we go as they come down. This is going to be a full replay of the run. Anthony Cletus put some nice distance between him and Tony Morgan.
Yeah, he's committed.
Tony Morgan, look how wide he is.
Yeah,
He's
he was
super committed, but then he brings the nose of the car right in, which is kind of a tactical move because he's shortcutting the circuit to try and gain some lost ground on Cletus. But Anthony Cletus is up and away in that little BMW E46 compact through the centre of the circuit. Look, we can see Tony Morgan dials on way too much angle. Cletus, though, comes away from outside zone 5. Now watch Anthony Cletus. Oh, he just goes out of shot. Watch in the background. Straight across the line. The power of technology. You can't get away with anything anymore.
Absolutely not.
Cannot get away with anything anymore.
Big brother these days. CCTV everywhere.
Well, we've swapped them around. We wait to get the thumbs up. And then we will
Morgan.
send them for the second
Tony
half.
Morgan will be the lead car. Anthony Cletus will become the chase vehicle. Now, is it in favour of Tony Morgan at the moment? Does Anthony have to pull it out of the bag here? Or what is the... We don't know. This is the thing. The judges don't give this information to us.
No.
So we wait and find out at the end of both judge runs, just like those guys at home that are tuning in to watch, you know, the UK Drift Championship live on Facebook, the live stream put on by Control. The boys doing a great job, especially with the graphics that we've got today as well, you know, making that a bit more interesting.
Yeah, they certainly are, as they come off the line, wondering what's fallen off the back of Anthony Cletus' car there. Tony Morgan makes a huge dive in. Oh, and Anthony Cletus, more issues. Handbrakes in the middle of the circuit and spins that car, not playing ball once again.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Safe to say.
Safe to say that one is over.
Going to go through into the top 16, completing our run of top 32 battles.
Well, I spoke to Anthony Cletus, again, another driver that I spoke to in the break, and he said that he's having problems with a car. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Struggling with that car, plenty of gremlins. He said he had to zip tie the plug into the ECU to get it to not misfire.
Really?
So, you know, he's battling gremlins all weekend. Hopefully he can get it resolved for round 3 in Teesside in just a matter of weeks' time. We're going to sell Teesside out, both on the track and on the fence all the way around.
I love Teesside as a track as well. It's a
Yes,
great
it's
circuit.
a phenomenal
Probably
place.
one of the best circuits in the UK.
So there we go, unanimous. Tony Morgan gets the win, advances through into top 16, and that is it. Our top 16 is decided.
So we're going to have some interesting battles as we get them lined up.
Well, these guys are gridded and ready to go. Our gridding team down there on the ground, they don't mess around.
Nope. Like John Smith's bitter. No nonsense.
No nonsense. No nonsense. Look at that. I can see Ben Mears ready to do battle with Callum Payne. We haven't seen Callum Payne in action yet. Those 6 drivers that got a buy run into the top 16, they said, we'll save the tyres, we'll save the fuel, we'll save anything we know, because we could crash. You could crash in your buy run and damage the car. So these guys said, no, we'll use the car when it matters, when we need to, and then we'll use it to beat the opponent and move through to the Grade 8, where we will be going through to the Pro Class tomorrow to drive.
So we're going to see Callum Payne line up against Ben Mears then.
So Callum Payne pulls up to the line. Ben Mears warms up the tyres. Callum Payne, the higher qualifier. Of qualifying in 5th place.
Both these drivers have been on form this weekend so far, though.
Certainly have. This is going to be a good battle. Yeah, it's going to be a very, very good battle. Who's your money on? I wouldn't even want to call it right now.
Do you know what? For me, at the moment, I think we need to see run 1 take place first, just to get a bit of a sort of a feel for, you know, how these drivers are both feeling in the car. Both confident drivers, but when you go up against someone that you know has got the talent, it's sometimes a little bit nervy.
It certainly is, where they come off the line very tentatively and slowly, then they start to work themselves into it. Callum Payne fires into outside zone 1. Oh, Ben Mears gets lost in the background, has to sacrifice a whole load of the outside line. Cuts the circuit massively to try and keep up with Callum Payne. Callum Payne, though, almost goes 2 wheels off track, too wide. Gets himself back into the flow of things. And Ben Mears now looks for the door. Can he make a dive up to the side? He's going to take a little go at the back end of Callum Payne's S14.
Yeah, so good run there from Callum Payne. Ben was completely offline, though. We're trying to make up some ground to catch up with Callum. So, so far, so good for Callum, I think. Ben's going to switch it around now and become the lead car. And hopefully he can, you know, cause a little bit of a distraction for Callum. And we'll hopefully see, you know, a result here off this next run. But still all to play for, you know. Anything can happen in the run 2. But it is going to be Ben Mears as the lead and Callum Payne as the chase.
Yeah, there we go. So Callum Payne now to chase down Ben Mears, and these guys still feeling each other out. This is only top 16. They're still warming up to it. They come through the gears, screaming down. Now Ben Mears starts to put a little bit of distance between himself and Callum Payne. But Callum Payne starts to find that proximity. Look how wide he is. He knows he can make a dive down here on outside zone 3, but he doesn't go for it. Sacrifices a little bit, holds off, waits for the transition through the centre of the circuit. Callum Payne needs to make a dive up to the door, make the statement, prove to the judges why he should be in that grade A. Oh, Callum Payne gets himself in the mix.
He was winding him in throughout that entire run there.
That was
Callum
nice.
Payne. That was what we expect from these guys, you know, like when you're the chase car, just because Ben, you know, used that a bit of extra power maybe he's got on Callum to get away in the first instance. He was slowly reeling him in. So good run there from Callum Payne.
So we await the judges' decision. Graphic pops up. Oh, 1 vote for Callum Payne from Payne. There we go. Callum Payne gets the win. Ben Mears out of competition. And Callum Payne moves forward, looking strong this weekend. Well, here we go. Big one for the championship right now. Harry Archer to take on Ames Hill. Can Ames Hill upset the apple cart? Can she ruin Harry Archer's opportunity of getting higher up in the points in the Pro 2 Championship?
It is proven, though, in round 1, Harry Archer has this real ability to put off.
Come alive.
Yeah, like to just put off a chase driver. You know, Ames Hill, she's got the power to easily keep up with Harry Archer. But it's difficult. That little MX-5, it seems to just drift slower than everything else. You know, probably because of the power and it being so small and nimble, but it just seems to work for Harry Archer. It really does.
He makes it work, and he makes it look easy to drive. He comes through the chicane. Ames Hill maybe giving him a little bit of room, but jumps onto the back bumper. Look at this from Ames Hill. Look, hunting it down. That huge skyline, hunting down that tiny MX-5. A big mistake there from Harry Archer. He has to handbrake into outside zone 2. Ames Hill keeps her distance. Waits for Harry Archer to make his move down into outside zone 4, and no proximity from Ames Hill at the moment. She knows big mistake in front from Harry Archer. Now she looks for the dive, looks to hunt down the side of that MX-5. Oh, almost an opposite drift across the line there from Ames Hill. Needs to be careful of that one.
Yeah, but there was a bit of a straight there from Harry Archer, but that's the difficulty he's got at the moment in that underpowered car. It's whether or not he can stretch the legs between clips 1 and 2. You know, I know this isn't qualifying, but the qualifying line still matters.
Of course.
And obviously, this is where now you expect Ames Hill to just put a foot to the floor
and drive
pedal
away
to the metal and just leave.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think you're going to see that little MX-5 glued to the side of that Nissan Skyline, because Harry Archer's had a taste of first place podium. He knows what it's like to be on the top step. He knows what the champagne tastes like, and he wants some more of that action. He's ready for it. He's hungry. He comes through, and you can see him onto the back end already. A little bit of separation opens up. Harry Archer waits for the initiation from Ames Hill. Maybe he knows he sits at a deficit, big understeer, but he stays in it. Oh, Harry Archer glides past the back end of that faster Nissan Skyline as Harry Archer, you can see again, sacrifice a little bit of line. Ames Hill drops a wheel on the inside of the circuit, sacrifices outside zone 5, but Harry Archer just can't find the door as Ames Hill sticks it to the wall across the line.
Ames Hill with was it one wheel or was it two wheels on the dirt? It's very difficult for me to see from where I was located, but you know, the judges have got all the angles to be able to take a look back at, and indeed, as expected, that's the first thing I think that they're looking to confirm.
Yeah, it looks like they want to replay, take a look at it from a different angle potentially. And there we go, yeah, judges, I can hear him in the background commenting, saying what a great lead line that was from Ames Hill. She was here on Friday. Look at that, absolutely committed into the outside zone. Really nice. That completely threw Harry Archer because he just didn't know where to go. He was like, is she going to go off track? Is she going to hold on to this? And Ames Hill, dicing with the devil, almost hits that outside clipping point cone, which is off of track.
Yeah, the car just seemed a little bit
flying
further than I thought then, really off track, but
she's got that lead line dialed.
Yeah,
dialed
absolutely,
now.
yeah. So we're waiting to kind of confirm and to see, and, you know, deliberation.
One vote in for Ames Hill. Oh, look at that, unanimous. Ames Hill gets the win and takes out Harry Archer, and that completely upsets the championship right then and there. And well, the season's only just started, but it is getting hot and heavy already. Ames Hill moves on into the Grade 8. I mean, she'll be driving tomorrow with Callum Payne in the Pro class. As they make their way back to the back of the grid, we move it forward some more. Joe Smith now to take on Paul Schiel. Listen, Smith will be sitting in that S13 and the spotters will be screaming on him on the radio saying, Archer's out. You took second place at round 1. Harry Archer's out. If you move forward now into the Grade 8, into the Funk Motorsport Grade 8, you could... You could start to take some points away from Harry Archer right now. Well,
he can start to progress here in the championship, all being well. Fingers crossed, you know. But this is drifting. This is drifting. And do you know what? We've seen some of the strangest things take place. But he's going to throw it in there now. Joe Smith is the lead car with Paul Schiel chasing him down.
Yeah, nice initiation from Joe Smith. Dialed as always, just drops a little bit out of outside zone 1. You can see Paul Schiel just holding on to it. He's going to try and make a dive down. Dials on a lot of angle. That's going to completely mess him up, and a big mistake there from Paul Schiel. Just over compensated on the angle, trying to slow that 350Z down. As Joe Smith gets into it, cool, calm and collected as always. Mr. Predictable, that's his new nickname.
Mr. Predictable. Well, Mr. Predictable doing what we may predicted here and extending his little lead now maybe into the championship upon Harry Archer, all being well. He's just got to hold it now in this next run, you know. And I'm not putting a commentator's curse on it, Ian, you know. But
Don't do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. But could this be the moment where Joe Smith takes the lead in the championship upon Harry Archer?
I mean...
This could be a pivotal point in the 2021 season.
It could be. Right here, right now, this battle, it could be the one. And we know Paul Schiel's made a mistake. He sits in the lead position. Joe Smith sits in the chase position. The optimum place to do some damage to Paul Schiel. But Paul Schiel fires that 350Z in, sacrificing the line. You can see Joe Smith. Oh, he's going to get himself into it. Oh, he's dropping wheels off the track. And Paul Schiel throws Joe Smith a smoke screen and says, take the gravel. Wow. Wow. Didn't see that coming. Paul Schiel come down the hill, threw some smoke up in the air, and you could see Joe Smith was trying to catch him up, trying to carry that speed, got into it, got lost in the smoke, and then was way too wide. Look at this as we look back. Joe Smith just not close enough, needed to be another metre or two closer to the back end of that 350Z on initiation. Look at this. Throws up some smoke, tries to catch up, just gets lost. Also, the alternative camera angle looks like it shows only one wheel in the gravel.
So, just remind me, is one wheel acceptable?
One wheel is points deducted, yeah, it's acceptable, but
So it's
two
not a
wheels
zero.
off is a 0. So judges look like they've come to a decision. Could this go in Joe Smith's favour? Could Paul Schiel not have done enough? Oh, 1 vote for Joe Smith, 2 votes for Joe Smith. Joe Smith gets the win and advances through.
Scrapes it through there, Ian.
And Joe Smith keeps that championship hope alive. By the skin of his teeth, judges are saying just. If it was 2 wheels, it would have been gone off with his head.
That'd have been him done. Yep.
Done.
And like I said, you know, could that be a pivotal moment in the championship? Well, it could be a pivotal moment in Joe Smith's favour now. But there was a moment there when we were waiting for that call from the judges and they were looking for the replay, whether or not it would actually go the opposite. Exactly
that. But now we've got Aaron Grantham pulling up to the line, 3rd place on the podium. If he now beats Harry Hudson, gets himself into the Funk Motorsport Grade 8, he will battle Joe Smith in the Grade 8 to move forward into the Final 4. Couldn't write it. The championship is literally being unfolded in the bottom half of this top 16 bracket. Incredible scenes right now here at the UKDC Pro 2 competition. Off the line they come. Aaron Grantham to lead out Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson says, look, I took damage on the car left, right and centre. I'm not afraid to throw a few more punches. Aaron Grantham, though, been one of the fastest men around this circuit today as he gets nice and wide. Not wide enough, though. Judges ushering him out to the edge of the circuit as Aaron Grantham looks to try and evade a grip from Harry Hudson as Harry Hudson stares down the bonnet of that Toyota Corolla, looking for the side of that BMW E36, but Harry Hudson has nothing left and just cannot get himself into it.
Well, Aaron did everything he needed to do there correctly, I think, as that lead car, to give him that maybe that advantage that he needs to go into what will be the top 8 against Joe Smith. So he's just got to hold it together now as they swap around. Aaron becomes the chase car, Harry Hudson the lead car. Harry Hudson there, you know, we've got some damage on that vehicle. He's been through the wars, you know, but he is still here. He's fighting for a place into the top 8, and fight he shall. These guys wait for Dale, our start line marshal, to send them on their way, where Harry will lead into the first corner with a huge initiation, no doubt. But Aaron Grantham is going to literally give it everything he's got now in the E36 BMW.
So there we go. Quick word with our marshals and our technical directors here at the UK Drift Championship. Getting some feedback, and in the background you can see Harry Hudson firing in that little Toyota Corolla. Aaron Grantham, though, looking for the door. Aaron Grantham hunting him down. This is the closest we've seen someone chase so far, as Aaron Grantham not scared to put that BMW in places it's not meant to be. Keeps into it, does Aaron Grantham. It's still on a very nice qualifying line. Oh, a little shallow through the centre, though, from Grantham, as he allows Harry Hudson to go wide and towards the wall as Hudson smokes out Grantham.
Yeah, so Aaron Grantham hoping that he's done enough.
Yeah, look at that, Harry Hudson, arm out the window. He's over the moon. He was having such a terrible morning, to get even this far, to get himself into the top 16, looking at a place in the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. Harry Hudson will be over the moon. We await for the judges' decision, though, but they're deliberating this one, Motty. This one not signed, sealed and delivered. This one not as easy as what you think.
I think sometimes through the smoke screen, you need to kind of like maybe look towards these replays just for confirmation of certain parts that are run in the section. But these guys, yeah, the judges have clearly must have seen something that's maybe not quite, you know, made them as happy as you would have thought, or maybe as clean cut. But you know, these two drivers show some respect.
Listen, our judges, they don't like talking. They said to me when they took this job, they said, look, we don't mind, we don't really want to be on camera, but we don't like talking. When he puts the headset on voluntarily, it means there's a situation, and it's going to be a one more time. James, talk us through this one. Sticky.
Yeah, sticky, very sticky. Sticky as a sticky insect on a sticky bun, I believe is the quote. I think it's going to go back to the phrase that pays from last time out. I want to judge least worst. Or rather, I don't want to judge least worst. There was a variety of errors. If you want to save this video, boys and girls, and look at all the things not to do in a battle. If either of them had hit clip 2, that would have probably been enough to see them through. If either of them had got clean proximity and kept it, that would have got them through. If either of them had run a lead line that was the qualifying line both of them have shown, that would have got them through. Lead to lead, errors in different places, chase to chase, proximity sometimes. We've got to see it again. There's nothing enough there to give a clear advantage.
Well, thank you very much, James. And yeah, both judges, Payne and Rich, agreeing, nodding their heads, saying, look, it's just not enough. We need to see it clean, or we need to see a detrimental mistake to, you know, judge it one way or the other. So they're back on the line, no tyres and fuel required. Aaron Grantham pumped up, Harry Hudson full of adrenaline. They're ready to go. 2 thumbs up, hands down, they go. Grantham to lead, Harry Hudson to give chase. Oh, Harry Hudson goes for the attack straight away. He's hungry. He's hungry for a place in that grade 8, but he just doesn't have it. As Aaron Grantham goes wide, looking for the outside zone 2, once again, sacrificing it now as they come down the hill. Grantham not on that perfect qualifying line. You've just heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Harry Hudson almost goes too wide there, stalls up in the middle of the circuit. Aaron Grantham makes a massive error right in front of the judging tower as he lights up the tyres at the back of that BMW and pulls them across the line.
Well, you know, the judges saying it wasn't good enough, the first battles, and, you know, was that enough for them there, or was it still not up to scratch? You know, we're going to have to wait and see. But these guys will switch it around now. Harry Hudson was, like you say, he was on it. He was right from the off. He was showing that aggression on Aaron Grantham. Aaron Grantham, you know, he's just missing that qualifying line now. I can see what the judges were talking about. He's just not putting it on the points that they asked for, and it is still so important to do that during the twin battles.
Yeah, of course, because they're looking for the best lead and the best chase, and the only way you can have a really nice chase drive is if you've got a really nice lead line, and unfortunately Aaron Grantham didn't deliver that to Harry Hudson, but can Harry Hudson now deliver that nice lead line? He's making that really weird dive from 1 to 2. Let's hope he doesn't do it this time as they come down. Once again, he's going to do it again, sacrifices outside zone 1. Harry Hudson in the centre of the circuit is not making it easy for Aaron Grantham to chase down, but this time Grantham does find a little bit of proximity. They come through the centre of the circuit, transition left to right as Aaron Grantham looks for the side of that Corolla, finds it, stands on the accelerator. Aaron Grantham puts the exclamation mark on this one and says, I want it, I want to go through.
Yeah, that seemed like a much better run there from Aaron with proximity. But again, both drivers were off that lead line. You know, it goes down to the judges, you know, we can't call it, but I feel like we've been here before, you know. Like, the guys are lined up, you know, and obviously you can see them discussing it as drivers between one another. That mutual respect and that camaraderie that they have in drifting is like no other motorsport, and, you know, both those guys will have so much adrenaline running through through them both at this moment in time.
Yeah, they certainly will. They'll be sitting there absolutely pumped and knowing that only one of them can go through. We've already had one more time. Judges need to come to a decision. It doesn't look like it's going to be an easy one, that's for sure, as they sit there looking at each other.
I'm just waiting for a headset to go on now, you know, is what I'm waiting for. Oh, it's going on, here it comes.
Voluntarily again, that means this is a difficult decision.
Let's put him in a position.
Oh, so there we go, 1 vote for Harry Hudson. 2 votes for Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson gets the win, advances through into the grade 8. James, we fire it back to you.
Okay, look, for me, once it goes one more time, we have to up the criticality of what we're going to start marking people down on. If you want my honest opinion, overall on all of the runs, I think the BMW drifted better. Right, so overall, I'd say probably the BMW has a better overall drift. Technically speaking, though, right in front of us, he straightened and had to reinitiate. We've been marking everybody down severely for that because this track shouldn't need that. It's a good flowing track once you get it right. So technically, Harry's going to go through, but by the skinniest of skinny technicalities, I'm afraid.
So there we go. Look, Aaron Grantham made a huge mistake, literally right in front of the judging tower. That can't be, you know, excused. And they've been marking drivers down all weekend for it in qualifying and top 32. So nothing can be done about it. Aaron Grantham out, but that completely upsets the championship because now Joe Smith, the only guy that was on the podium at round 1, continues his move through into the Funk Motorsport Grade 8.
It puts Joe Smith in a really great position for the 2021 championship.
Certainly does. Damien Murphy now takes on Stephen Lynch. Stephen Lynch been on an absolute flight. Oh, and he's in the wall. He's in the wall as Damien Murphy tags the wall, the first victim of the weekend.
He's been close to it all weekend.
He has.
That just,
look at this.
You see, he clips
bam.
it, and bam.
Upsets the front tyres, and then he just locks it up.
It looks like he may have broken something.
Yeah, so I've just stood up because I can see straight out, and does look like Damien Murphy's going to get out of the car. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, as he gets out of the car. Damien Murphy, yeah, broke more than just his ego when he went into the gravel there. And Damien Murphy, as you can see, making his way out of the car. Smoke coming from the bonnet. He says, I'm not worried about the back, that's not a problem, but the front is where the money is. That's where the expensive bit is. This is where it starts to hurt.
You know?
Yeah, we don't need that bit. That bit can go away for now. Parts available from an E36 Touring if you go head over to Damien Murphy's pip later on. So you can see the track staff here at Driftland, incredible, all ready to go. Fire extinguishers in hand, recovery truck in hand, ready to go.
I think he's just making them, you know, work for the wages this weekend.
Work for the wages, yeah.
He's probably just going to drive off now. You know, he's caused a bit of commotion, he's caused a bit of excitement, and now it's. So out comes the tow rope.
Getting some inside information from Dan Martin Media down on the inside of the track. Said that the diff broke the other day, so maybe that has happened again.
Well, I mean, I'm still in a little bit of surprise that, you know, the championship could be mixed up so quickly within, you know, a matter of top 32 making it to top 16 battles. You know, Joe Smith making it into the top 8 has put himself in a real strong position now for 2021. And it's funny because we actually had a conversation a little bit about this earlier on.
We did.
You know, whilst watching the guys during practice and qualification, and, you know, how these three drivers, you know, Aaron Grantham, Joe Smith and Harry Archer, who had all been on the podium at round one, and, you know, how things could turn out quite close here. You know, and that there could be a complete switch around almost. You know, it could have been even worse. It could have been that Joe Smith had been knocked out and that Paul Schiel had gone through, in which point it would have mixed up even further. Yeah,
the championship would have changed completely and the points would have been all over the show. But at the moment, Joe Smith looks like he's on a run to a championship that maybe at the beginning of the year he thought, I've got no chance of winning this thing. Now he stands probably highest in the points at the moment.
But you've been there and you've seen it, as have I, over many years that we've been in this sport. It is more often than not, it can go down to the very final round.
Yeah.
I remember seeing, I think there was 5 drivers at the final round that all could take possibly the win. And sure enough, you know, it was down to that.
It can play out into literally qualifying points, and you don't even have to get a podium. You know, you can consistently finish here and here all year and find yourself in the top 4 and then get one podium and almost win the whole championship. So Damon Murphy there just getting his power steering belt back, I do believe. So don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow our pro competition kicks off here at round 2 of the UK Drift Championship. We'll be whittling down 20-odd drivers into just a top 16 Motty. No messing around. We thought, we'd change it up. It's Driftland, it's a custom-built circuit. Let's give it something special. Let's just qualify 16 drivers. Then me and you, we are going to head down onto the circuit and we are going to interview these guys. We're going to get them gridded into their battles, and then we're going to get a little bit of camaraderie. We're going to get them fighting against each other. We're going to get them talking, as you can see.
Just give me a minute here. For a minute, it looks like... It looks to me a little bit like they're just going to have to lift the car up and take it off.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, if the diff's broken or it's completely locked up, the only way to get it off the circuit easily is with a forklift.
I mean, let's be honest, you know, it's Damon Murphy's, you know, he's gone. He's left them to it.
Yeah, Damon Murphy's like, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Leave it to it, lads.
I don't need to see this. I don't need to see what you're going to do to my car. So as soon as we get Damon Murphy's car removed off track, we do need to make it official though. Has Stephen Lynch taken the win? We need to make sure that Damon Murphy is not going to call a 5-minute rule.
Oh, there we go, we're up. Oh, broken pieces on the track. Yeah, broken pieces on the track there. That's
yeah, it looks like a tail end of a prop shaft maybe snapped off, so that could be the complete end of the weekend.
So it was no wonder the car was sat on the spot, unable to move.
Yeah, so there we go. We've just been told it is official. Damon Murphy has retired from competition. It's no prop shaft.
I did think then that there was a
you never know.
substantial
You might carry a spare. Some people do carry spare prop shafts.
Round one, we saw a drive shaft changed within 5 minutes, and still to this day, it amazes me. Some of the feats, you know, we think Formula One pit stops are fast, you know, but they don't have to change drive shafts. They're changing tyres. You know, they don't even have to put fuel in these days. These guys, drive shafts, tyres, hubs, suspension.
Yep.
You know, we've seen some phenomenal feats of engineering take place, but I mean, he's off. He's back into the pits.
He's gone. Yeah, he's gone, and be back on his trailer in no time, ready for the venture home to be repaired for round 3 in Teesside in just a couple of weeks' time. We are going to sell that place out. Tickets are on sale now. You can come to Teesside and stand on the bank and watch drifting again. How good does that sound?
One of my favourite tracks, you know.
It doesn't sound like anyone here at Driftland's excited, but I am. I am super excited to be back at an event where there's going to be crowds. We missed that massively at Three Sisters. The Three Sisters event always has an incredible crowd. They always get involved, and Teesside's the same. They like to get involved, they like to cheer, they like to shout for their favourite drivers. We're going to be bringing, you know, the circus to town, the UK Drift Championship. We're going to be bringing that to Teesside. We're going to sell it out. Pro 2 drivers, pro drivers. The grid is already looking good. A lot of drivers signing up already saying, I want to be a part of the action. We're going to use South Bank, send them guys in there, top of 4th gear, flat out. I'm looking forward to it, Motty.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, you know, if previous years gone by, you know, my experience drifting at Teesside is, do you know what? I've always been done quite well with the sunshine there and been very sunburned on occasions.
You've been very, very lucky. We're off the line with the next battle. It is Matt Walker to lead out Joel Conlon. Not many places left now in that Funk Motorsport Grade 8, but both guys making a real nice job of that outside line so far as Matt Walker gets himself down there. Joel Conlon seems to have got that 350Z working absolutely spot on, but just not enough pace in it to keep up with the S14 of Joel Conlon as he sticks it in to outside zone 6 and across the line.
Yeah, and you know when it's heating up, when you're out of your seat, Ian, and I'm stood up now. Commentary is on point now, and watching these guys, you know, Matt Walker, he was fast there into that initiation, a lot quicker than I remember. And in fact, I'll go as far as saying that's the fastest entry I've seen today.
Yeah, he's not messing around. He's come to party this weekend, and looks like he's bringing the heat as Matt Walker steps up to the plate in the chase position now. Joel Conlon has got a really, really nice lead line. That 350Z is dialed. It's working really, really nicely. And you can see, look at Matt Walker just sitting back ever so slightly, ready as soon to make the dive straight away as soon as they come through that chicane. Down they come. And you can see Matt Walker side by side. Does he give him some room to manoeuvre, or he's going to try and get on the back bumper? Look at that dive from Matt Walker. Straight into it he goes. Joel Conlon giving him an absolutely incredible lead line, and look at Matt Walker taking the opportunity, dives down into outside zone 3 onto the back bumper. Got to be close, he doesn't get himself caught up, gets out of it, waits for the transition. Now Matt Walker squeezes the throttle, jumps back onto the side of Joel Conlon, and across the line they go.
Now that's what we were talking about, Ian, exactly there. Matt Walker on the door. On that run, like he just went and took it to Joel Conlon then. what an absolutely awesome twin battle from these guys. You know, and look to the judges, but that's what we've got coming up now. That is a sign of what is to come. You know, we're going to be moving into our Grade A. We've got a few more battles left, and we're going to expect every battle to be as good as that.
We certainly are. And here we go. 1 vote for Matt Walker. 2 of 3 is unanimous. Matt Walker gets the win. Matt Walker gets the win and takes Joel Conlon out of competition.
And I'm looking some of the battles that are stacking for the top 8, and I'm not going to say what those names are.
Don't give them away.
Because I do have a habit of doing that.
Getting too carried away.
But I'm looking and I'm thinking, wow, we are really, really, really narrowing it down now to some of the best drivers of round 2 here in the UK Drift Championship. So, who've we got up next? We've got Marshall Goodwin against Paul Howell.
Yeah, Paul Howell really found his feet, said he pulled it all out of the bag for the second qualifying run, made it happen. But Marshall Goodwin in that Firefly 350Z, been looking good, been looking consistent. They come off the line, ready to go. Anthony Cletus already out of competition. Can Paul Howell hold it together for team first start? Throws big angle at it. And that sacrifices a whole lot of line now. Howell's going to have to really work to try and gain back some lost ground. As Marshall Goodwin puts foot to floor, looking very nice out front. Consistent drive once again from Goodwin, screaming. Dabs the wipers on just to knock a little bit of rain off the screen as Paul Howell goes to go for a dive, but there is nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, a really strange entry there from Paul Howell, like just kind of not required to throw in that much angle, kind of just go back to basics a little bit, you know. Twin battling, you need to see you on the door, you need to mirror the car in front, and obviously we would love to see maybe a little bit more angle or better that, but that was just taking it a little bit too far for me on the entry there.
Yeah, it was just going a little bit too hard. It was too much angle. It sacrificed so much speed and line that he had to dial it out and then get back on throttle. By that time, Marshall Goodwin had already started to pull away.
So wait and see now. These guys obviously switch around. Paul Howell will be the lead car, yeah. A position that I feel will probably be a little bit more comfortable in as the lead car. And that is something that you notice with drivers. Some drivers chase a lot better than they lead, and others, you know, totally the opposite. And I think for Paul, as the lead car now, you know, he'll feel a little bit more in control. And Marshall Goodwin's got to obviously, you know, try and keep up with that very quick BMW E36 estate.
He certainly is. And in comes Paul Howell right now. Nice initiation this time. No messing around. Not too wild. Not too much angle. Now he starts to put a little bit of distance between himself and Marshall Goodwin as Goodwin sacrifices a little bit of that line. You can see him on the inside of the circuit. Oh, but Howell takes down the outside clipping point. Judge is going to be looking at that one to see if he was off track. Foot flat to the floor, you can barely see the cars in the smoke as Goodwin's on the back bumper.
Yeah, the judges have been very strict and stringent about knocking down that clipping point, you know. So I think we can kind of safely say where this is going to go now, really. But we will look for the graphic and the judge's decision.
Well, they're deliberating this one, and there's only 2 more spots left in our Funk Motorsport Grade 8. Coming up in just a few moments' time. This one almost ready to be decided, then it will be Gary Mickey to take on Tony Morgan for the final spot in that Grade 8. There we go. Oh, one vote. Oh, there we go. Unanimous for Marshall Goodwin. Marshall Goodwin gets the win. Paul Howell out of competition, taking down that cone outside zone 4. Basically 2 wheels off track. Just the heat of the moment getting too much.
That's it. The pressure just getting a little bit to Paul Howell there, you know. And missing out on a spot in that Grade 8, but we will see Marshall Goodwin go through. And like you say, it's going to be now Gary Mickey against Tony Morgan. Gary Mickey, a local lad, we're led to believe, you know.
I'd say so.
That E36 compact, very different car. When I listen to it,
Convertible,
is it powered by
convertible.
Convertible,
It's a V8. It has a V8 in it.
I'd say, is it a V8 in there?
I do believe so, but I'm sure I'll be told by the locals that are watching. They'll be on the phone straight away telling me exactly what it is.
Keeping an eye on you, keeping you in check.
Keeping me in check, yeah. So there we go, off the line they go. Tony Morgan to chase down Gary Mickey. You can see Tony Morgan not letting him get away too much. It's been the tail of the tape so far this weekend in our Pro 2 competition. Just guys letting him get away too much. And you can see Gary Mickey on an absolute flyer out front. But look at the pace and smoke from Tony Morgan. Oh, and a little mistake there from Gary Mickey creeping in. As Tony Morgan holds on to it. just doesn't have the grip or the pace in the car to keep up with Gary Mickey.
Yeah, pretty consistent run there. You know, Tony Morgan just wasn't able to reel in Gary Mickey, and Gary Mickey on that qualifying line, he's got it absolutely nailed.
So wide. From 1 to 2, he's just absolutely pinned on the outside edge of the circuit. Exactly what the judges wanted to see.
And I think that's commitment and speed. He's just throwing it in there and he's letting it just push out wide into that clipping zone. Exactly what needs to be done, really.
Exactly what we was looking for. And that's why it comes down to qualifying. And Gary Mickey, well, he qualified in first place, so he has got that perfect qualifying line that the judges wanted to see. Thumbs up, ready, and they go down. Tony Morgan now to lead out Gary Mickey. Is Gary Mickey going to bring the fight? Is he going to bring some pain to Tony Morgan's weekend as both guys flick left to right? Fire in. You can see Tony Morgan nice and high up. He's even bringing in that perfect qualifying line. But look at Gary Mickey. Shallows up the angles. They come down into outside zone 3. Mickey up on the inside. Nose in that BMW onto the door. The S13. Oh, yeah. Brave transition from Gary Mickey as he sacrifices the outside clipping point just to try and find the back bumper. Wow.
What a great pair of battles then from those guys. Judges acknowledging it up here as well. A round of applause for those guys. Plenty of smoke now in the air here at Driftland. And Gary Mickey with a vote for Peter and Rich. And is it unanimous? It is indeed. So Gary Mickey goes through to the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. So that concludes our top 16. We are moving on forward, Ian, and it is heating up.
Well, it certainly is. That means that going through into our pro competition tomorrow will be Callum Payne, Ames Hill, Joe Smith, Harry Hudson, Stephen Lynch, Matt Walker, Marshall Goodwin and Gary Mickey. All of those guys get to go through. Now let's have a look at the matchups. It's going to be Callum Payne to take on Ames Hill, Joe Smith to take on Harry Hudson, Stephen Lynch to take on Matt Walker, Marshall Goodwin to take on Gary Mickey. It's getting hot and heavy. This is for a spot in the final 4. Podium awaits for one of these guys.
And there's a lot at stake here as well, you know, in the championship points, especially when you look at that battle that's going to be Joe Smith v Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson doesn't give up without a fight.
He certainly doesn't. He's not a man to lay down and let you tickle his belly, is he?
No.
He's not one of those guys.
You know, he's one to, you know, throw a few punches and, you know, get himself in the mix, you know, and we've seen a bit of damage from, you know, from his own car and, you know, those that he's done battle with because he is committed. So
he is.
This is really, you know, this is getting exciting.
We're getting to the business end of the deal.
I'm stood up, and that is saying something.
Listen,
you know?
I turned up today and there you are drinking Cavonia, eating Hall's throat soother, saying to me, I think I'm unwell, I don't know if I can talk today.
Voice rest.
4 hours later, you're on your feet bouncing around like a 6-year-old at a soft play centre. I don't know what's got into you, buddy. I don't know what's got into you. You've not even had a beer yet.
Drifting,
You've not even had a beer.
Drifting. These boys out there putting on a show for those at home and those here at Driftland. The UK Drift Championships come to town here at Driftland. I am probably going to lose my voice by the end of the day.
As long as you lose it by the end of tomorrow, that's fine, because I don't know if mine's going to last by the end of tomorrow. If the action tomorrow in our pro competition is as good as what it's been today in Pro 2,
my worry is it might even be better. In fact, I'm going to go as far as saying I know it's going to be better.
Do you know why I know it's going to be better? Because I've already seen Luke Barker unloading that incredible 2JZ GT86 out the back. I can already see that incredible 1,000 horsepower beast of Hayden Cruikshanks parked up, getting prepped, getting nurtured by Two Roads Motorwork.
Literally just being polished.
Polished. You know? So there's some machines out the back ready to do battle tomorrow.
I saw a little face pop round the corner earlier on. Bagsy's here.
Bagsy boy, yep.
We've got the big guns.
We've got some big guns tomorrow in the show.
So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see what that stacks up.
But listen, we've got some big guns in the show, but we've also got these 8 drivers making their way in to the show tomorrow because we thought we'd just mix it up a little bit. We'll throw 8 of our Pro 2 drivers into the Pro class and see what they can do.
Yeah,
Let's see what they can do. Let's see if they can hang with the big guys.
And let's be honest, a qualifying line like Gary Mickey, that is going to upset a few big boys.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Because he is on point.
Well, look, we're on the line, ready to rock and roll. And this man, well, Callum Payne, a little bit understated. No one's really noticed him creeping through the ranks at the moment, but Ames Hill sits alongside him, ready to do some damage. They're ready to go. They get the thumbs up from our start line Marshall Dale. It will be Callum Payne to lead out Ames Hill for a spot in the final 4 awaits. Here we go, Ames Hill, look at this, absolutely desperate to get into the top 4 as Ames Hill looks for the back bumper of that F14 of Callum Callum Payne, but Callum Payne sticks it on an absolutely incredible qualifying line. Goes way wide, gets off throttle, down into outside zone 3. Ames Hill now starts to try to regain some lost ground. As he transition left to right through the middle of the circuit. Callum Payne looking cool, calm and collected as he hammers the throttle to the floor. Up onto the wall he goes and across the line.
Big dive from Ames Hill there at the end though. And she did just reel Callum Payne in slightly. The question is, was it a little too late or was it enough? Callum is on point. He's on those clipping zones. He's taking that qualifying line. He's kind of, in a way, not putting a foot wrong. Dare I say it?
Dare you say it?
I did.
Dare you say it? You said it. So there we go. Ames Hill makes her way back to the start line for the lead position. Callum Payne sits there and he says, well, I gave her the best lead line I did. She slowly reeled me in across the track, across the course. Time for me to repay the favour. Thumbs up, all round, hands go down. Ames Hill to lead, Callum Payne to give chase. Smoke still coming from the driver's window of Callum Payne's car as Ames Hill tries to drive away. Nice initiation from Ames Hill as she goes very wide. Holds it on the edge of the circuit. Wow, where has that been all day? But that opens the door for Callum Payne. Callum Payne looks to stick the front bumper of that S14 onto the door of that R34 Nissan Skyline. Ames Hill transitions, sacrifices outside zone 5, foot flat to the floor. Callum Payne goes for a dive, just cannot get there.
Fantastic run from both drivers in both runs there. You know, judges acknowledging it as well. I'm going to go as far as saying, could it be one more time? It was quite close to call.
I mean, potentially, but for me, Callum Payne just didn't have the proximity. He just didn't, you know, make a dive. Well, he did make a dive, but not at the end of the run. You know, judges said in the briefing, slowly reel your lead driver in over the course of the run. Don't make little dives and jabs. Don't make it scrappy. Is that what they're going to be looking at now? One vote. Oh, there we go. Callum Payne gets the win and advances through to the final 4. Just goes to show you, what do I know about drifting?
One thing's for certain, though. A massive round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Ames Hill, who was putting a fantastic drive. She struggled a little bit with the change and adaptation from, obviously, the wet practice and the dry qualifying today, but she's come into her own and made it into, you know, the Funk Motorsport Grade 8. So, round of applause for Ames Hill. She's really starting to come on strong for me in this championship.
She certainly
I'm
has.
looking forward to seeing how she progresses.
Well, she's driving tomorrow in the Pro Day as well now, so she's going to get even more seat time with some big guns. We move it along to the next bout. Will be Joe Smith to take on Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson, after a disastrous morning, and I know I keep saying it because every run for run, it was a spin on initiation. And I walked down there and I spoke to him in the interview and he was like, I don't even know what I can do anymore. And then now he finds himself battling Joe Smith in the Funk Motorsport Grade 8 for a spot in the final 4. What more could you ask for? But Joe Smith knows he needs to be in that final 4 to continue this championship hunt. Hands go down, they come off the line. Smith to lead, Hudson to give chase. Hudson says, I'm on borrowed time right now. Who cares what happens? I'm just having fun. Nice initiation from Joe Smith. A little bit of correction on the steering wheel, but look at the lead line just out of that outside zone 2 clipping point box. Harry Hudson makes a big march down on the inside. Just can't find the proximity at the moment as they transition through the centre of the circuit. Joe Smith puts foot to floor. Harry Hudson starts to get a little bit lost as Hudson cannot find the back end of that S13.
Yeah, I think Joe's done what he's needed to done there as the lead car. Harry's obviously, he's trying everything he can, but there's just a few little errors there for me that the judges will have instantly spotted, and they're obviously going to probably mark him down slightly for that, you know, point deducting. Joe Smith, though, like, the pressure is on his shoulders right now, you know.
Look at Joe Smith, look, waiting back on the radio
Tactics.
to the spotters, saying, what do I need to do? What's the tail of the tape? How do I know what I've got to do next?
To put it simply, Joe, you're going to have to drive the socks off that car, mate. That's what you're going to have to do.
What would you tell him if you was his spotter? Just get on the door. Just literally.
I don't think there's much else to say, you know. Honest, keep it safe, buddy. That's what I'd be saying.
Keep it safe or risk and reward. I think it just has to go for the risk and reward option as Harry Hudson comes down and once again does that fatal dive across the track, sacrificing 1 and 2. And Joe Smith makes a massive error, but is that error forced on by Harry Hudson? That's what the judges will be looking at. They'll be looking to see if Harry Hudson's odd line through the centre of the circuit made Joe Smith do that. As Harry Hudson starts to smoke out Driftland,
It was a big error from Joe Smith, you know.
Yeah, but was he dragged into that situation? This is what the judges will be looking at. Was Joe Smith forced into that situation of making that dive because the lead line wasn't clean?
And the truth is, you know, if we go back to the run with Aaron Grantham and Harry Hudson, the judges
did the same thing again.
Correct. Both drivers were doing that,
same
and
thing.
the judges weren't happy for it.
No, and Harry Hudson got away with it by the skin of his teeth, said the judges, because Aaron Grantham made a mistake. I don't see many mistakes from Joe Smith there. Apart from that, but was it that way? Oh, and Harry Hudson gets the win.
It.
We need to talk to the judges on that one. We need to have a word with the judges. Judges, just quick breakdown of that one. Harry Hudson gets the win.
James puts his headset on.
Okay, so I don't know what Harry's putting in the coffee of his competitors. Certainly another technicality. Joe had a very nice lead. Harry, when he was driving, not as good a lead, but a totally unforced error by Joe. We've been hitting him hard all day for straightening and reinitiation. You could clearly see where he went straight, had to yank the wand, try and kick it back out again. That hands everything and more back to Harry, so he goes through.
So there you go. It wasn't unforced. You know, in my eyes, I looked at it as if it was a forced error. You know, he forced Joe Smith into the centre of the circuit to make a dive, but the judges didn't see it that way. And listen, that's why they're judges and I'm a commentator, and that's why there's three of them and one of me.
And we can all look at it from different points of view, you know. So
everyone's got their own opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
We move it along. It's going to be Stephen Lynch to take on Matt Walker. Matt Walker on an absolute drive this weekend, this afternoon, but Stephen Lynch has found his form, found his feet in this car from the first run of practice all the way through, but he just looks like he's been left standing ever so slightly there. But very shallow angle from Matt Walker as he comes through outside zone 2, holds onto it on the outside edge of the circuit. Stephen Lynch now starts to smoke out the tyres on the back of that E46 BMW, but no proximity, going to stick to that qualifying line, hoping that Matt Walker makes a mistake, and absolutely nothing in this battle between these two guys.
Yeah, you said that Matt Walker, you know, has been on it all weekend, but, you know, don't rule out Stephen Lynch. You know, he's really got to grips with that car this weekend, and he's been flying. But part of me feels like he's just lacking the bit of grip there, a bit of traction from the vehicle to propel it forward. Whereas Matt Walker is, you know, foot to the floor, and as soon as he does that, that's the momentum's just, he's off.
Yeah, it's very, very fast at S14, and you're right, yeah. It just doesn't look like Stephen Lynch's car. It's making loads of tyres, wheel speed, loads of smoke, but just doesn't look like he's driving towards him. They go back to the start line, door gets slammed shut.
So with that said, I suspect now, with Stephen Lynch now becoming the lead car, Matt Walker chasing him down, and him having that extra propulsion, you know, to move himself forward, that he may get right on the door of Stephen Lynch. And let's not, Stephen Lynch has been putting in a really nice qualifying line all day, so it's perfect for Matt Walker to chase him down.
It certainly is. Well, they come through the chicane, and you can see Stephen Lynch lighting up the tyres from the start line all the way through, and you can see Matt Walker not messing around, going for a dive up onto the door. Oh, almost tags him as they go super wide, almost takes down the outside clipping point. That is the line we've been wanting to see all day. Stephen Lynch has got it absolutely dialed, but Matt Walker is right with him. Matt Walker is like a dog with a bone. He's not letting Stephen Lynch get away. He lets him transition through the centre of the circuit. He's going to go for another dive as Matt Walker edges himself up onto the door and forces him. Oh, and almost contact from both guys. That got hairy towards the wall at the end there.
Yeah,
Stephen Lynch backed out of it, and that forced Matt Walker to back out of it. That could have ended in.
And do you know what I noticed, which I thought was fascinating, is as they came through past clip 2, yeah, and obviously Stephen Lynch was leading, I just saw him glance out of his window at Matt Walker on the door of him as if say like, oh, hello, you're here, type thing. So, yeah, mutual respect from both of these guys, and a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for putting on a spectacle for the UK Drift Championship here at Driftland.
Well, judges are deliberating this one. They're going to look at a replay, I do believe, of the end of the run to see what happened. And this is for a spot in the final 4.
Look at this.
Look how wide Stephen Lynch is.
Ooh,
literally to the edge of the circuit. Matt Walker doing a really nice job in that chase position. You can see him just giving Stephen Lynch the room.
I think he clipped 2 of the clipping points there.
Very, very nice chase there. Watch this, though, as they come round. This is where it starts to get a little bit hairy. What happens to Stephen Lynch here? Who makes the error first? Stephen Lynch. Oh, I think it was Matt Walker. I think Matt Walker backed out of it.
Do you think he backed out of it just out of a little bit of hesitation? Like, is he going into the wall, you know?
Yeah, I think he maybe got a little bit worried that Stephen Lynch was going to hit the wall and maybe fire the back end of his car into the front of Matt Walker's.
I suppose that's, you know, that's part of the sport, you know, that's part of this driving, you know, and
having that trust.
Yeah,
having that trust.
And, you know, having that confidence that, like, you know, that.
What's the? The kahunas is what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
the kahunas.
I think so. Yeah. Good polite way of saying it.
Good polite way of saying it.
You know.
Yeah, look, judges looking at it again. Oh, this is the first half of the run.
So first battle this, yeah?
Yeah, we can see no proximity from Stephen Lynch. Matt Walker out front, not doing a bad job. And yeah, just trying to look for a mistake from either of the guys.
Do you think we're going to see this run one more time?
No, I think I know what way it's going to go. And I think it's going to be such an unfortunate way for one of these guys to go out.
You know, whilst we've got this little break, we've got to remember.
Oh, so one vote for Matt Walker.
Oh.
One vote for Stephen Lynch.
Oh, dear. So
Oh, and James hasn't put his vote in yet. So Payne is saying Stephen Lynch. Rich Newton is saying Matt Walker. James the head judge is gonna either split this or one more time it. There's only one way it could go. What way is he gonna slide?
I'm sat here, literally. I'm not even sat. I'm stood on the edge of my seat. You know.
It's going to be one more time. James, we have to talk to the judges. Split judging panel. Head judge sends it to a one more time.
By far the most difficult decision.
Of the whole day. Yeah. And it's not even the final.
No.
Man, what am I going to say about this? Well, look, I am a Democrat at the end of the day, and I could stamp my feet and say we have been harsh on straightens all day, but the proximity shown by the 14 is kind of where he gets himself to the point he's going to have to straighten near the end for me, which is why I've agreed to go one more time, because my colleagues are fiercely one way and the other way. So I'd rather do it democratically and see it all again. Again, I want to judge good driving, not least worst. And for me, there is a variety of mistakes run to run that kind of counteract each other out. So apart from that little bobble right at the end, which I'm okay to ignore when we're in this higher place in the finals.
So there we go. Just you know, he has to keep them two apart, Payne and Rich, from having a full-blown fight. Where we go? We're going to go at it again. We've been Matt Walker now to lead out Stephen Lynch. This is for a spot in the final four. This isn't messing around. Stephen Lynch knows how Matt Walker operates now. Matt Walker knows he needs to escape. Oh!
Showers us with gravel.
And Matt Walker goes hard. Matt Walker throws everything and the kitchen sink at it. Look at this. Big initiation. The car just washes, gets on the marbles. Bam. Gone. And Stephen Lynch turns around and says, cheers, buddy.
Yep. That's it, literally. Judge's decision there was made pretty simple and pretty easy. And if I look correctly, I think Matt Walker's gone straight off the circuit.
Yes, so Stephen Lynch has made his way back down towards the back of the grid. We're going to need to know if...
Wonder whether he's DB'd a tyre, maybe.
Maybe,
or
yeah, maybe. I didn't. If he has, I didn't see it. Normally I spot them. I'm
pretty good at that.
Pretty good at that.
Yeah. You know, let's not forget, we wouldn't be able to put on this absolute spectacle without all of the sponsors that support the UK Drift Championships, Control, who put on the live stream, ASNU Fuel Injectors, Driven Racing Oil, Corbeau Seats, Funk Motorsport, Fast Art, Direnza, Garage D, and HEL Performance. You know, without those guys, we wouldn't be able to put on what is, you know, the UK's Premier Championship, the UK Drift Championship, with some of the biggest drivers, you know, the UK has to offer.
So there we go. So just getting some little bit of confirmation from our men on the ground. And yeah, he has called a 5-minute roar as Matt Walker DB'd a tyre. So he is back in the pits. He's going to put a tyre on it, or he's put a pair of tyres on it. But, he's sitting with a 10-0 deficit, and then he has to try and chase down Stephen Lynch. We move it along to the next battle. It's going to be Gary Mickey to lead on Marshall Goodwin. Marshall Goodwin absolutely flying this weekend. Found his form from practice and just has been riding the wave. Nice little handbrake dab there from Goodwin as he gets himself into it. Gary Mickey supplying the perfect lead line as Gary Mickey goes nice and wide. Goodwin getting himself caught up on the inside, holding on to it as Marshall Goodwin goes for another last-ditch dive at the door. Oh, Marshall Goodwin was so strong there until he just got himself a little bit frustrated in the centre of the circuit, then started making a few mistakes.
Gary Mickey, though, is just like, he missed the consistency today.
Yeah.
You know, that qualifying line, he has just got dialed. And obviously, there's a level of being a local lad. He's probably driven here, you know, put in the hours, got all of that practice. You know, would love to see him at Teesside, you know, and how he fares there in the championship with the rest of the guys. But, you know, he's absolutely kind of a great battle from both of those drivers, let's be honest.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So we swap them around, and now Marshall Goodwin to lead out Gary Mickey.
So Dale stands there, ready to set him off. Look at that smile on his face. He's enjoying himself
He's happy.
out there today.
Yeah, he's happy. He's dry. It's not too hot.
He's dry.
He's not getting.
That's what's most
he's not getting
important.
sunburned. It's like perfect atmosphere for a start line Marshall this weather.
Yeah, I mean, let's fingers crossed, you know, a bit of sunshine tomorrow. You promised me I was going to have my shorts on tomorrow.
Well, I mean, even if it's cold, you'll just have to wear your shorts.
Okay, right.
So we go off the line. They go Marshall Goodwin to lead out Gary Mickey. Gary Mickey looking rock steady this weekend. Oh, and a big error from Marshall Goodwin as he drops down on the inside of the circuit. Oh, and that upsets Gary Mickey. Gary Mickey holds on to it. And once again, look, dab of the handbrake there from Marshall Goodwin, taps the cone on outside zone 4. It's starting to fall apart right now for Marshall Goodwin. And it doesn't look like a spot in the final 4 is going to await for Marshall Goodwin.
Yeah, Marshall Goodwin there initiated far too early. He put him right on the inside of the corner on the first corner. And unfortunately, Gary Mickey, I think he put him a little bit out of his comfort zone there. You know, that's not the line he's used to been taking like all weekend. So I think, you know, decisions pretty much made there. I think Marshall's kind of thrown it away a little bit, but we'll wait to see exactly what he said, and especially obviously clipping that cone. You know, judges have been dead strict with it all weekend.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And they've stuck by it. Every rule they made in the briefing, they stuck by it. Here we go. One vote for Gary Mickey.
2.
Gary Mickey gets the win.
Unanimous for Gary Mickey. Gary Mickey is a man on a mission, and I'd just like to remind you, Ian, I put my money where my mouth was this morning. I said, he's my man.
Well, look, right now he's in the final 4, so he could end up on the podium. What happens if he ends up on the podium?
Well, if he
You're going to
wins-
buy all the beers tonight?
Oh, absolutely not. eh? This isn't.
I thought that's
this
what you
isn't-
meant.
No, that's what happens when you get a hole-in-one in golf.
Oh,
know?
you-
Yeah, we're
Oh, yeah.
not playing golf.
Yeah, okay.
This is more exciting than golf.
So there we go, back to the second half of the Stephen Lynch and Matt Walker one more time battle. Matt Walker taking his car to the gravel with a D-bead. Hands a 10-0 advantage to Stephen Lynch. So Stephen Lynch right now.
So just
Stephen Lynch will be in the lead position. So Stephen Lynch will just need to put in a very nice, confident lead line. And he could find himself in the final 4. Battling Gary Mickey for a spot in the final.
Stephen Lynch or Matt Walker battling Gary Mickey. It don't get much easier, does it, you know?
No, but, you know, Matt Walker, he's going to hope that something happens to Stephen Lynch, maybe a car failure, D-bead, falls off track.
Stephen Lynch is going to hope the same happens
It's just,
to
yeah.
Matt Walker, you know? It's like, it's vice versa.
It is very much vice versa. Well, they warm the tyres up on the cars. They slot them in gear. They look across at each other, give themselves a little nod to say I'm ready for action. And we wait for the thumbs up from our start line marshal. And here we go, down the hands go Gary Mickey to chase down Stephen Lynch. A final spot in the final 4 awaits. Nice initiation from Stephen Lynch as he goes very wide of the outside zone. But look at Matt Walker. Matt Walker hungry for the side of that BMW E46 as he noses the S14 up onto the side. Incredible proximity. Waits for the transition, makes an early dive. Can he get back onto it? He certainly can. Big dive up onto the side from Matt Walker as Matt Walker forces Stephen Lynch to the wall.
Yeah, good run there from both drivers. You know, Matt was on the door there, hunting Stephen down. Stephen putting in a good line. You know, was that run 1 of that battle? We're going to switch it over, or was that run 2? Run 2. Oh, yeah, it was run 2, yeah. Yeah,
it was run 2. So we will get a winner of this battle, and I can only see this going one way.
Yep, I agree, yep.
So there we go, 1 vote for Stephen Lynch, 2 votes for Stephen Lynch. Stephen Lynch gets the win and moves through into the final 4. And there we go, the final 4 is set. It will be Callum Payne to take on Harry Hudson for a spot in the final, and it will be Stephen Lynch to take on Gary Mickey for a spot in the final.
We've whittled them down.
We've whittled them down.
Qualification was a tough one. It was a little bit of a surprise going from wet to dry.
Yes.
It was difficult for these drivers. They did everything that they needed to do. We whittled it down, top 32, top 16. The Funk Motorsport Grade 8, and it is this final 4 now, as you can see on screen. Callum Payne versus Harry Hudson, and Stephen Lynch versus Gary Mickey. 2 of these are going to go through to the final. The others are going to play it out for 3rd place on the podium.
They certainly are. Well, you can see down there at the back of the grid, Harry Hudson warming up the tyres on the back of their little Toyota Corolla. Callum Payne sits in that lead position, ready and waiting for his opponent.
So, here we go, Callum Payne versus Harry Hudson. Harry Hudson's been offline on a few occasions.
He has.
The judges have been not harsh on him, but rightly so, kind of said, listen, it ain't good enough. You've scraped it through here. Has he learned his lesson? Are the spotters talking to him? Is he going to now just absolutely pull it out of the bag and get right on the money? Because we know Callum Payne likes that qualifying line.
Well, look, Callum Payne's been leading that qualifying line all day, been strong contender, got a bite into the top 16, but Harry Hudson says, I am on such borrowed time, I'm just going to come and have some fun. Callum Payne doesn't want to know that, though, as he fires through outside zone 2. Callum Payne's car getting faster and faster every single run of the track, as Harry Hudson just cannot keep with the back end of the S14. Hudson looks for a dive through the centre of the circuit as they slow down the transitions. Callum Payne dials on the angle. Hudson just cannot get there as Callum Payne sticks it to the wall.
Callum Payne's doing exactly what he needs to do right now on that first run, you know. He must have the advantage. He was right on the qualifying line. He kept that gap from Harry Hudson, who was doing everything he could to reel him in. But, yeah, we're looking for that mistake now from one of these drivers. The judges, like you know, we said earlier, the judges, you know, we're looking for even more critical sort of moments now to be able to pinpoint exactly who goes through and who doesn't. So
when you get to this end of the competition as well, you're into the final 4s, you know, and you're talking about someone going home with a podium. Like these guys, they're pushing super, super hard. They've done more runs around this circuit than anyone else over the course of the day. So they know the track like the back of their hand. Harry Hudson now sits in that lead position. Callum Payne to give chase. As Callum Payne says, well, I haven't lost a battle yet, and I'm not about to start right now. I want to be in that final. I want to get a taste of champagne. But Harry Hudson's gone. Oh, Harry Hudson throws on away early initiation. Understeers massively, and Harry Hudson throws it away up the bank of Driftland.
And obviously, Callum Payne's seen that. You know, pretty self-explanatory. Callum Payne knows he's seen that all unfold in front of him. It's all unfolded right in front of him. He's going through to the final now. And
oh man,
Harry Hudson's.
I'm in shock.
He's parked at the end of the track. It's been through the walls. I'm in shock today, hasn't it?
That Corolla was immaculate at the beginning of the day. Dan Martin even sent me a photo of it in practice, saying this is one of the sickest cars on track. Look at that! Look, it just snaps. Look at the speed. Locks in that front wheel. Bam! Takes the front bumper off of it.
Rear bumper's gone. Front bumper's gone.
Rear tail light's gone. Rear quarter panel's damaged.
He's all in the side. You know, Harry Hudson.
It's not over for Harry Hudson
no,
yet.
It's not. That's what I'm about to say. He's waiting now patiently.
Third and fourth
place
This
battle.
could get a taste of some champagne. Whatever happens, he's going in to drive tomorrow with the big guns, and he knows that. And he says, well, the car can't be any more battered than what it already is, so I'm just going to keep going until it just falls apart around me.
You know, he's going to be drifting with no doors next or a boot lid off or something, you know.
I don't think our scrutiny of Scott will allow that.
No, I don't either. But so Callum Payne, you know, he's parked up at the end there. He's out of the car. I think we're just waiting to see what takes place now. But
so yeah, we're just trying to see what is going to go on.
looking at Callum Payne's position there, I wonder whether he's going to maybe pop off circuit for a new maybe set of boots. These guys won't be getting many laps out of a set of tyres now that the circuit is bone dry here at Driftland. You know, the wind's blowing the smoke away just nicely. You know, in this wonderful part of the world.
Well, look, we need to make it official. Yeah, there we go. Callum Payne gets the win. Harry Hudson bows out of competition, but it's not over just yet. We will see Harry Hudson battling for third and fourth place.
So coming up for me, probably the biggest battle so far today, Stephen Lynch versus Gary Mickey. This is it's going to be a big one, this.
Well, Stephen Lynch left the circuit a few moments ago because he'd not long finished that battle against Matt Walker. So we're currently waiting for Stephen Lynch to make his way back out on circuit. We can see Gary Mickey's car down there, door open. Gary's out of the car, just chilling, hanging out, waiting to do a battle. Is he going to get into the final? And yeah, Gary Mickey's he's chilled. He's chilled. He's ready to go. He's like, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready. You bring me Stephen Lynch and I will destroy him. So there we go. Look, while we wait for Stephen Lynch to make his way back out on track, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you a few ads. I'm going to rest my voice, ready for the final. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
More horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are almost ready to kick off the final couple of battles here. We are still awaiting a Stephen Lynch. The 5-minute clock now, I do believe, has started to count down. But he's not back out on the circuit. Marty, do you think he's just having a little little breakout back, just feet up, saying today's been easy.
He's in the race trailer, is he? You know.
He's in the rig.
They're in the rig. You know. He's putting the champagne on ice ready, is he? He's
got his own bottle chilling.
Oh, well, let's hope he makes it out in time, because that would be a sad way to see this battle take place. But these guys, you know, waiting patiently out on the circuit, you know, they're chilled.
Yeah, we're just waiting to find out where he is. You think he's got the oysters and the champagne just chilling?
Oysters?
He's got the oysters and champagne chilling, and the caviar.
This isn't Bagsy, is it? Yeah. he's got the oysters and the caviar.
The oysters and the caviar. The oysters and the monster chilling, ready to go.
That's it, yeah.
Listen, we're talking about pro drivers. Tomorrow.
Go on, talk to me.
Tomorrow, we're going to whittle these guys down. Top 16 only here at Driftland. Just the once. We're going to just try it. We're going to test the water, see what it feels like. We're going to whittle them down. They say they're the best of the best of the best of the best. Are they?
I think there'll be some upsets, though. I think some of these
upsets
from today are going to upset them.
I think the 8 from today. We're going to send the 8 drivers from today into tomorrow and see what happens. Just mix it all up a little bit and see what happens, because these guys have had a serious amount of seat time, and a lot of those have proved that their qualifying line is on point. How are they going to fare against the pro drivers? We will find out tomorrow. We'll be live again tomorrow at 12 o'clock with pro qualifying. We're going to whittle it down to just 16 drivers. Then we'll be back at 3 o'clock with a top 16 parade. Myself and Motty will be on track, getting some rivalry going between the drivers, trying to get them to, you know,
pump them up.
Pump them up a little bit before we send them into battle with a one-off top 16 event here at the UKDC 2021. Gary Mickey sits on the start line as Stephen Lynch warms up the tyres on the back of that BMW E46. He now approaches the line. Gary Mickey takes a look across and says, one more contender and I'm in the fight for the final against Callum Payne. If this is the man I've got to beat, well, is it going to be easy? Who knows? Gary Mickey comes off the line. Stephen Lynch waits for him to get through the chicane. They start to come down into the initiation. A huge flick, dap onto the wall goes Gary Mickey. Stephen Lynch not even in it. Stephen Lynch and Gary Mickey go super wide on the outside line as Gary Mickey gets off the throttle, lets that car wash down. Oh, but Stephen Lynch makes an error. You can see he makes a little correction into outside zone. Now he's starting to fall apart. Oh, and the car shuts down. Oh, and Stephen Lynch looks absolutely disheartened as he drives past the commentary tower, shaking his head, and that car lets him down at the final moment, and you can see him arm out the window, holding 5 up. Is that 5 to our start line, Marshall? Yeah, it looks like he's calling a 5-minute rule.
Yeah, he's going to be straight off the track, straight into the pits. There'll be a beehive of activity, and Gary Mickey, he's just going to be sat there on the start line, waiting, you know, patiently to see what's going on by the looks of things.
So yeah, we are getting word that Stephen Lynch is going to make his way back to the pits for a 5-minute rule. And he is into the final 4, so he does get that final 5 minutes. But that is it, 5 minutes, and then that is it, it's up.
Car troubles, you know.
If the car is fixed, he can...
This is what happens, you know, when you put the car through its paces for run after run after run. When you do battle against so many good drivers, you see it run one more time, and you still do battle in that car, it's going to take its toll, you know.
It is going to take its toll, yeah, and these cars get pushed to the absolute limit. And Stephen Lynch's car has got to the end of today, and it's gone, buddy, I think I've had enough. I'm not quite sure.
Stephen Lynch's car has done exactly what my voice has said. It said, I've had enough, I'm gone.
But your voice did that this morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah. You know, what can I say?
We've got another day to get through.
It was a long drive from Manchester on the telephone, you know.
Talk to me about a long drive.
Well, you know, but yeah, a drive worthwhile. It's been fantastic so far, the action, you know, and I'm pumped to see the final take place. 3rd and 4th place battle, not to mention as well, with the runner-ups here, you know. Yeah,
well, look, Callum Payne's in the final. Harry Hudson's in 3rd and 4th place playoff. Who is going to take it through to battle Callum Payne in the final? Will it be Stephen Lynch? Will it be Gary Mickey? Gary Mickey so far looking the stronger contender.
Yeah, so again, Gary Mickey, like I say, just sat on the start line, patient really. You know, whether or not he wants to just reverse it on up a little bit and maybe just warm those tyres before the run takes place. But just, he's been so calm and collective this entire day so far. You know, obviously a local track, a track that he knows so well. And he's been putting it exactly where the judges have asked, time after time after time after time. So, you know, fingers crossed for Gary. He keeps that up. He makes it through to the final, and he goes up against Callum Payne. And who knows, it could be himself that stood on the podium or maybe in second place. We don't know until that takes place. And we won't find out until we go out on track.
Have you noticed something, Marty?
What?
I think the sun's coming out.
Really?
I think the sun's coming out, ever just so slightly. And I've just took a quick look on my phone. I've just been advised by some of the staff here. They said tomorrow is going to be glorious sunshine. Make sure you wear your shorts and T-shirt because it's going to be really warm. And I said, yeah, but can anyone even come? And they're like, yes, they can. Tickets on the gate tomorrow. If you're local to Driftland, you want to see top 16 pro action here at the UKDC 2021 Championship, get yourself down to Driftland. Tickets on the gate. You could come in, meet the drivers, have a look around the paddock at some of these awesome machines. And like I say, we're going to whittle these drivers down to just the top 16. Me and Monty are going to do a track walk, and we're going to talk to some of these guys. We'll talk to all the drivers, get some feedback, have some fun, have some laughs. See who thinks they're going to take the win tomorrow. At the moment,
I just want to say, who cares if you're local? Tickets are on the doors.
Tickets
I drove
are on the door.
4 hours from Manchester here, yeah? And tomorrow's going to be even better. It's going to be even more action. We've been locked up for ages. Ages. Let's all just get ourselves to Driftland.
Just so everyone knows, Monty's getting stick right now because he drove 4 hours.
Yeah, it's a long way that for me. This isn't a competition on who drove the furthest.
Right, I'll tell you what competition it is, though. It's the one happening right out on track right now, and it's Stephen Lynch making his way back to the start line. Smoke pouring from the bonnet and out of the exhaust of that BMW E46. That car not well. It's not happy. But if it can take down Gary Mickey, he's in the final with Callum Payne, and then it's only got to do 2 more runs, and then it can just rest. But it won't, because he'll want to drive tomorrow with the likes of Bagsy, Luke Barker, Hayden Crookshank, multiple big names.
Big names.
So there we go. You can see Stephen Lynch down the back, warming up some tyres. Gary Mickey, chill. Absolute chill.
Absolutely.
Chill. So chill. If he was any more chill, he'd be asleep.
He's probably got the flask out having a
He's
cuppa.
got the flask out having a cuppa. He's chill. He's sitting there. Gary Mickey pulls the handbrake. He says, I'm ready to go. This is it. Time to lead out Gary Mickey for the final spot in the first and second place playoff through the start line. Come look at the smoke pouring from the bonnet. Is that car even going to survive?
Well,
And no, it doesn't. It shuts down. Gary Mickey takes the opportunity, advances through and flies down. Yeah, look at that. Unfortunately, Stephen Lynch's car dies at the last moment. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Sacrificed that car, put it on the line. And Gary Mickey, well, Marty, you put your money on your man, and there he is. He just got himself a spot in the final. We need to make it official, though.
One more now. One more. Come on, Gary. One more, and then we can share a beer together.
He might not want to go for a beer with you.
I'm hoping he's got the beers.
I think he'll have more than the beers after tonight.
Well, he can. He's got to
drive tomorrow.
He's having tomorrow. 0 alcohol.
Apple juice.
Apple juice. Orange. Cranberry.
He's
anything
asking.
else.
It looks like Gary Mickey's asking our start line marshal what happened, and they've just thrown their arms up like, don't know, just didn't go anywhere, just didn't do anything.
He's nice. He stood up. He's gone over to Dale and he's gone. But I put my flask away. You know.
I haven't got any more tea left.
Yeah. Come on, lads. Get me a refill.
So we're going to make it official. There we go. Gary Mickey gets the win, advances through to the final.
Well, given the circumstances, is it safe to say that going into the third and obviously 4th place battles, Harry Hudson versus Stephen Lynch, and if Stephen Lynch has had to retire, has he or has he not? We probably need confirmation on that.
Well, Stephen Lynch, has gone back to the pits. He doesn't have another 5-minute rule. So there we go. Look on screen. You can see the battle finals. It will be 3rd and 4th place playoff. Stephen Lynch to take on Harry Hudson and Gary Mickey to take on Callum Payne in the final battle. Right. Stephen Lynch doesn't have any more 5-minute rules left. He's gone back into the paddock. One of our marshals is now making their way to him. If he thinks he can fix the car, he can come back out in, you know, a minute, 2 minutes time. If he can't fix the car, Stephen Lynch is out of competition, and that means that Harry Hudson will get the win and take third step on the podium.
Well,
Harry Hudson, he's praying to the gods.
I mean, he's had some luck from the gods.
Praying
today,
to the gods.
you know?
Well, there we go. Look, the battle's up, and now we expect Stephen Lynch to the line. So we await the confirmation. Harry Hudson's going to get in his car. He's going to close the door, warm his tyres, and pull to the start line. If Stephen Lynch doesn't make it to the line, he's out. So Harry Hudson just getting himself strapped in, hands device on, belts on, fires the car up, and there we go. Door slam shut.
Still on the hinges.
Still on the hinges.
Yeah.
just about after today. So we're looking for that pit entrance. We're looking for that way on and off track. If Stephen Lynch noses that car out, it could be a battle. If not, Harry Hudson will get a bye run and take the win. Take third step on the podium. What a day for Harry Hudson. Of all the people I spoke to, and he was like, I don't even know what to do anymore. And then there he is.
In a shell of a car.
In a shell of a car.
As a shell of a man with all the drama he's had to go through. Stood on the podium going,
I don't think he can take any more after today. I don't think he's mentally able to take any more.
Thank you, God. He's what
well, there he goes. Look, he's off. He's making his way down to the start line. He's going to get the opportunity to warm the tyres on that Toyota Corolla. And as soon as he pulls to the start line, we'll be looking for Stephen Lynch's car. If Stephen Lynch doesn't make it to the out on track, we will release Harry Hudson, and that will be it. It will be over.
Well, it's a nerve, painstakingly wait now just to see whether he noses it out. He's on the start line.
Well, there we go. Harry Hudson pulls to the start line. Oh, and he's been released straight away. No, Stephen Lynch. That means Harry Hudson, ladies and gentlemen, takes third step on the podium. Give him a round of applause. He comes through Driftland. Harry Hudson, what a day. Throws it into a 360 and says, to hell with it. I've had such a day, and I get third step on the podium. And Harry Hudson has been gifted a little bit of luck, gifted to Harry Hudson. Stephen Lynch, give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Third place on the podium, Harry Hudson. Well, that means, Motty, there is just one more battle to go, and it is the final battle. Mr. Understated is what I'm going to call him. Callum Payne, out of nowhere, just crept through the ranks, just kept going, and then all of a sudden, he's in the final. Callum Payne, we make it official. There we go. Harry Hudson gets the win. Harry Hudson gets the win, takes third step on the podium. And congratulations to Stephen Lynch. He still gets fourth place. He gets to drive tomorrow.
If he can fix it.
If he can
I'm
fix it.
sure it'll be a busy and a long night for the boys.
It will be for the boys, yeah. So there we go. We send down our final battle of the day. Pro 2 competition is almost over. Gary Mickey warms up the tyres on that BMW. Callum Payne, no, he doesn't. He doesn't even bother. He just cruises to the line as Callum Payne now starts to warm the tyres up.
So, Gary Mickey.
I'm getting told after all this time it's Mitchie, and then I've been corrected by the Scottish. It is Mickey.
Yeah.
So there we go.
We're not going to argue with the Scottish.
So ladies and gentlemen, they're on the line. It is Gary Mickey to take on Callum Payne. But before I release him off the line, Driftland, make some noise! Not bad, not bad. If we got a big crowd tomorrow, I expect the hairs on my arms to be standing up. We're ready to rock and roll. Here we go. Gary Mickey, your first place qualifier to take on Callum Payne. Your fifth place qualifier. Hands up, hands down. Here we go. Mickey to lead, Payne to give chase. Can Callum bring the Payne? Or is Mickey going to shut the door? Big initiation from Gary Mickey. On the wall he goes. Callum Payne shallows up. Goes for the inside line as he hunts down the side of that BMW E36. Callum Payne bringing the proximity as they come down into outside zone 3. Oh, Gary Mickey goes wide. Holds onto it. Just keeps wheels on track as Callum Payne gives him the room to manoeuvre. Callum Payne now looks for the side of that BMW one more time. Callum Payne jumps up onto the door of Gary Mickey and across the line they go.
Woo. I'm telling you, we knew this was going to be close, but I don't know it was going to be that close. You know, it was going to go down to a second run. It was too close to call for me there, but what? These guys have been on fire all day. These two have driven the socks off these cars. You know?
They certainly have. They have really driven the wheels off these cars. Gary Mickey has just been flawless all day. But like I say, Callum Payne, Mr. Understated, out of nowhere, just crept through the ranks. And there he goes. He goes and sticks it on the door just like that. Here we go. Could this be the final run of the day? Callum Payne pulls into the lead position. Gary Mickey to give chase. Judges just deliberating the first half of the run before we get the thumbs up in the tower. You ready?
Too excited.
Well, here we go. We're almost ready to rock and roll. Judges still having a few words about the first half of the run, but they are ready to go for the second. Thumbs up from Callum Payne. Thumbs up from Gary Mickey.
Send
They
them,
hands
Dale.
go down. Dale sends them off the line. Callum Payne to lead them in. Gary Mickey knows what he needs to do. He needs to be onto the door as Callum Payne comes absolutely screaming past the judging tower. And Callum Payne tries to pull away from Gary Mickey. Gary Mickey got nothing in it at the moment as he goes to make a jump onto the back bumper. Gary Mickey almost on the side there as they come through the centre of the track. Callum Payne puts foot to floor. Gary Mickey has nothing. Gary Mickey doesn't have the proximity as Callum Payne brings him across the line.
We look to the judges to see if a decision has been made, and we're not going to tell you guys at home or you guys here in attendance at Driftland, because I'm sure once we know we've got a decision, Ian's going to hot foot it along.
I'm going to try not to fall down the bank.
He's going to be off with a microphone in hand, ready to announce it with the drivers over by the start line. Is it going to be? It's going to be right in front of us here, in front of the judging point, in front of the crowd here at Driftland. So we're just going to look now for a decision.
So they're still deliberating it, just ever so slightly, just, you know, going through it methodically.
Oh, you don't think we could see one more time, do you?
No, my voice can't take it one more time, so I hope not. Fingers
crossed.
crossed.
I have another drink of Cavonia. I've nearly drank the bottle.
You've drunk a whole bottle.
I've nearly drank the
I think
bottle.
you've got a problem.
Do you know what it says on the back? It says, only have 2 5ml spoonfuls up to 4 times a day. And I've nearly done the bottle.
You've nearly done the bottle. Well, we need to ask that all-important question. Judges, do we have a decision?
We've got a decision.
And they do.
There
they
you
have
go,
a
ladies and
decision.
gentlemen,
Marty,
we've got
I'm
a
going to
decision.
head down. I'm going to try not to fall down the bank. Driftland, it's been an absolute pleasure. You've been incredible all day. Don't forget, tomorrow, pro competition. We're firing 8 of our Pro 2 drivers into the mix with our pros. You're going to see these guys out on circuit with the best pro drivers from around the UK. Top 16 only. We're going to do a full track walk. We're going to talk to these guys, get them to have a little bit of banter and a little bit of fun before we go mad into it. And then tomorrow we will be crowning our Pro Round 2 winner. I'll be there. Marty, you'll be there.
Will
you guys be there? If you're watching at home, don't forget to give the live stream a share and a like and a comment. I'm going to go down, Marty, because I've got the all-important bit of paper.
Yeah, you get yourself down there, you know, and celebrate with these guys. I'm going to stay up here and keep well away from getting covered in champagne. You know, it's some fantastic driving from these guys, and it's going to be fantastic to see all of these guys as well from the top 8 competing tomorrow in that pro class. Big thanks go out to our sponsors, Control with the live stream, ASNU Fuel Injectors, Driven Racing Oil, Corbeau Seats, Funk Motorsport, Fast R, Direnza, Garage D, and HEL Performance. Without those guys, we wouldn't have been able to put on this show for you. It's, you know, a spectacle of drifting in the UK. These guys have absolutely smashed it today, quite literally. Harry Hudson's car has been in the wars. He's going to be rebuilding that this evening, in the pits, ready for tomorrow. The guys absolutely took it out there, put on the show, gave it everything they've got, you know, and it absolutely well deserved for all of these. So I'm going to keep my eyes out for Ian, who's making his way across the track. I think he's probably got the last legs in his voice there, you know. He's going to give it the final few breaths that he's got to have a quick chat and a quick interview with these guys and make the announcement so that you guys at home and you guys here in attendance know who has been crowned winner of round 2 here at Driftland for UK Drift Championship Pro 2 class. Ian, are you ready with us? Not sure whether we can hear Ian or not.
You done, mate? Yeah, there we go, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, incredible day. But first, before we give out our podium, we have to give out our Driven Racing Oil's hard charger, and that goes to a driver that our judges have said have driven 110% all day and beyond what anyone would expect. And today, ladies and gentlemen, that driver gets the award. Give it up for Ames Hill! Ames, if you'd like to make your way down up to the circuit. She's going the brave way. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, your Driven Racing All-Star charger goes to Ames Hill in the incredible fast start Nissan Skyline. Don't hold the bottom. Do that. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Ames Hill! Well, what a day for this young man. At the beginning of the weekend, it looked like he was going to give it all up and go home. But he got it on the podium, ladies and gentlemen, third place. Give it up for Harry Hudson! And a massive round of applause to Stephen Lynch in fourth place. That car dying just when he needed it the most. But I can confirm, taking second step on the podium at our Pro 2 Round 2 competition. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Gary Mickey! That means your round 2 winner, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for Callum Payne! Ladies and gentlemen, from me, from my co-commentator Paul Martin, from everyone here at the UK Drift Championship, have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow with our pro action here, live from round 2 at the UKDC. Take care, see you soon.
We are Funk Motorsport, your heat management specialists. Based in the UK, we strive for perfection, developing thermal products trusted by professional race teams and drivers worldwide. Performance, protection, reliability.
More horsepower, less wear, better performance. Introducing new GP1 high-performance driven racing oil, developed specifically for competition, classic, and import vehicle applications.